Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out, procrastination, putting it off, kicking the can down the road. In, plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out, carpet in the bathroom. Like, why? In, knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week, in Streamwood, Illinois, when a German Shepherd named Friendly comes home with a part of a severed leg, it's obvious that there's either a killer on the loose or Friendly has been a very bad dog. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us again this week. Hope you enjoyed last week where we were in Oregon. Mm-hmm. We were out on the coast, and we had Goonies never die, but Chunk kills, apparently.
He does.
Basically, if you don't know what we're talking about, listen to the episode, and you will. We're going from Oregon. We're going to Illinois today. Next week, Connecticut.
Oh.
Go across the country like that. Let's do it. Thank you guys once again, though, and thank you for everything you've done for us this week. Thank you for your reviews. Yeah. They matter. Why? Who the hell knows? We don't know.
Don't ask.
Apple Podcasts, purple icon, if you give us 5 stars, and it just helps. It helps the show, helps drive us up the charts, which helps more people see it, which helps the show. So thank you for doing that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. All your stuff is there. All your needs, your merchandise is there. Tickets to live shows. 2021 is filling up very, very fast as we're rescheduling all the 2020s into 2021 and trying to get a couple new cities in there. So that's going to be fun. And we can't wait to see you guys then. But you got to get those tickets. And whenever the shows happen, you'll have tickets for them. And also you can have all your information on the site, including crime and sports. if you're not listening to Crime and Sports, I got to be honest with you, you're missing out big time. Check out Crime and Sports this week. It's a murder. There you go. If you like murder, you're going to like Crime and Sports this week. Oster Pistorius, murder. We get into it pretty deep, so check that out. Check out P.S. I Hate This Movie on Fridays. Hang out with us all damn week and keep coming back and back and back. Also, if you want to be a producer of the show, that is easy to do. Yeah. And you're going to get so much stuff. This isn't just for us. No. This is for you as well. Jimmy will mispronounce your name. Oh, yeah. He's going to butcher it. Yeah. You won't even recognize it. It'll be fun. In addition to that, you're going to get access to all of our bonus stuff. That includes Crime and Sports bonus stuff, which is rarely about sports. It's mainly just about crime, just like, as you know, Small Town Murders catalog is. All sorts of crazy. We have a wild murder last week as the bonus episode, and next week will be just the same. So do that. You can get all of that wonderful stuff over at patreon.com/crime and sports. Anybody over the $5 level has access to all the bonus materials that we can offer you. And if you just want to be a nice person, get some karma maybe, and just say, hey, I'll help these guys out because they've been putting out lots of content. You can do that as well. No pressure, but if you feel like it, hey, go for it. Do that over at PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com, and that will help a lot. And thank you for everybody that does everything like that.
You guys are awesome.
You are. And quickly with the disclaimer, because this is a deep story and we got to get right into it here. This is a comedy show. Yeah. It's a comedy podcast. We are comedians. True. So we're going to make jokes. That's what's going to happen. People are also going to die because it's also a murder podcast. We didn't do it. We don't condone it. No. We wished it. We wish we had no material to work on and we just would do a show about something else. Honestly, if all was a utopia, we would say no one be murdered. This we don't want to do a show, but people do get murdered, and unfortunately it's interesting. So we're going to talk about it. And what we try not to do, we go out of our way not to do, is we try not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Tell me more.
Because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
All right.
And that's what you'd have to be to do that. So that's not where we roll here. Our comedy comes from all the stuff around it, because when murders happen, it's usually not just a cut and dry, there's usually crazy stuff happening to cause this, and that's kind of where we come in. So if that sounds good to you, awesome. If you don't think true crime and comedy should ever go together, then we're probably not for you.
No.
Or if maybe we are, you should give it a shot. But if we're not, don't complain later, because we warned you when we told you it was comedy. So, and all the stories are true. We don't think they're, we're not making anything up to be funny. But if that
people got to use a straight face to deal with this shit.
That's what I'm saying. If you want that Dateline's out there, and
it all exists.
Very solemnly tell you horrible things, and that's fine. That's good for you. But for the rest of us that might have a little darker sense of humor and need a little something different or weird to fill those gaps in our soul, then you know what? I think it's time to sit back and shout, "Shut up and give me murder." Let's do this, Jimmy.
I would love to.
Let's go on a trip. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Let's go. We're going all the way from Oregon to Illinois. Here, we are basically going backwards on the Oregon Trail, heading back across. We're going to Streamwood, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago, actually. So, it's right outside Chicago. It's obviously northern Illinois, outside Chicago. It's about 40 minutes to downtown Chicago, so it's a burb. I mean, if you work in Chicago, you can easily live there.
Could.
I mean, John Hughes could have made a movie about this town, I'm sure. Put some kids in it or something. All of his movies were in suburbs of Chicago. So
is that what they were all?
Yeah, they were all in Shermer, Illinois.
I didn't know
which doesn't exist.
Did I not know that? I don't know.
Did you never? Really?
I don't think I gave a fuck.
Beginning of the Breakfast Club in Shermer High School in Shermer, Illinois.
Yeah, I guess I didn't give a shit.
Isn't that the Jay and Silent Bob Straight Back? Don't they go looking for Shermer, Illinois? Isn't that the plot of the movie?
I don't think I ever saw that movie.
Okay, well, there you go. I think they were looking for Shermer, Illinois, which doesn't exist, and they were pissed off at John Hughes at the time. So
hilarious.
It's pretty funny.
It's a great plot.
It's a funny plot. So anyway, 40 minutes to Chicago, so it's about an hour 30 up to Milwaukee. As we know, that's a very nice, easy drive, and, way better than flying, as we proved last time when we went from Milwaukee to Chicago. Jimmy flew, Sarah and I drove, and we got there way easier and earlier. Jimmy was like, "Goddamn fucking airport!" And we were like, "Oh, we had a leisurely cruise.
It was a good flight.
A Sunday afternoon. It was beautiful." It's nice. It's about...
It's really weird to get off the ground and be able to see your destination.
Yeah, there it is. Here we go. And then you have to do a big circle around, too, which is so weird. This one's about 4 hours and 20 minutes to Troy, Illinois, which is our last Illinois episode, which was episode 140, so a long time ago, October 2019. Almost a year. So it's in Cook County, so it's actually in the same county as Chicago. Area code 630. History here, it's a suburb, so we'll go light on the history, really. That doesn't matter. It's called the Tri-Village, this area, along with the towns of Bartlett and Hanover Park. And it was first incorporated in 1957. People have been hanging out here since the 1830s or so, when it was home to dairy farmers.
Is that right?
Yeah, this used to be dairy farming area.
Just outside of Chicago?
Yeah. Okay. Chicago was always a very big, big with the livestock and all that sort of shit, because it was a shipping center, because they'd ship it across the lake to everywhere. So you could go to New York and then go across the Erie Canal and you'd be in New York City.
Really?
With the lakes, yeah. Well, I mean, not connect there, but you'd connect to things and make it easier. So they'd go waterways from there. So there was a lot of shit there. Chicago was a hub for that sort of thing. And in the area of Hanover Township, which is what Streamwood becomes later on, and it becomes Streamwood from Hanover Township, there was about 800 people here in 1950, and it was basically just farms. About 800 people with a bunch of farms, all just farm people living in 1950. And now it's all just burbs. I mean, it's packed suburbs and strip malls. And,
cookie-cutter houses.
Yeah, on their Wikipedia page, they talk about, we got a big strip mall. It's literally, there's talk of the strip mall. And hey, there's a Auntie Anne's cookies and a Great Clips. You're like, oh, wow.
Sounds like hell.
That's great. Wow. It's really exciting stuff here. Now at first it was the typical suburban 60s, 50s track homes kind of thing. And now it's kind of gone a little bit more. The newer homes they're building here, from what I understand, are a little more upscale.
Well, custom jobs, huh?
Yeah, they're a little more upscale than what was there to begin with. So you're going to end up with, old Streamwood, which is the shit houses, and then you're going to get new Streamwood, which is the nicer houses.
Cultured stone.
Yeah, they'll break those high schools apart. They'll have greasers and socias fight each other.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Jets and sharks.
Can't wait. Oh, man. I'm getting a ticket for that. But after the end of World War II and the Korean War, veterans were they went all out into the suburbs after that. And the GI Bill helped a lot. So there was people buying houses there. And basically it ended up blowing up into suburbs, starting in 1956, when a developer developed 21 pre-assembled houses on concrete slabs. So these are just a shit.
That's a trailer, babe.
Pop, pow, manufactured house. Pop it on a slab, no basement, no foundation, just a slab. So, yeah, these houses were shipped from Indiana by the National Homes Corporation and were packaged with insulated walls, ceiling, roof sections, and framing.
Already done.
Already done in there. You could do that.
Holy shit.
You used to be able to buy a house from Sears. Did you know that? You could order a whole house.
You could buy cars and everything from them.
Well, you could order a house and they would just bring you all the materials for a house.
Wait, hold on, what?
Look up, because I heard it somewhere and looked it up. Look up Sears catalog houses, and they have, they'll be they have a dozen different houses you could choose from in there of different designs. Yeah. And, well, this was in the 30s where, people like us could build things, whereas now if you gave us all the materials for a house, we would put the plywood up to make a fucking triangle, and we'd sit under it to not get wet. That would be our building a fucking house. We would not know what to do. But back then,
I mean, I think I could put the essential part, the structure itself together, but then once it comes to everything else, like
plumbing, electricity,
right, that part I'm like, I don't think I can do that.
I know I can't do that. I know I can't do that. But back then, you could just order whichever design I want, the Continental or whatever, and you'd order it, and they would fucking ship all the shit to your house and just drop off. Wherever you're going to build it, they just drop off all the materials for a house, everything.
And you got to trust it.
I'm talking down to the counters and shit. It was all the interior, everything.
They did that right too, because today you order anything from Amazon, they send you a mixer and the bowl's missing.
You're like, my fucking third bathroom's missing. What the shit? I ordered 3 bathrooms. I got fucking 2. This is bullshit. Where's my third bathroom?
They didn't send us nails?
For Christ's sake.
How are we going to put this shit together?
I wanted an island in the kitchen. That's not here. Shit. So
all this and no shingles.
Yeah, the homes would be constructed in less than 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. They'd ship them kind of all prefabbed out, and they just slap them together in 2 weeks, and that's how that worked. And then in 1957, they made the village of Streamwood, and the rest is history. And now we have some reviews of this town.
I can't wait to hear it.
Want to find out what's happened here?
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of good reviews. A lot of people say, it's nice, easy, nice, like quiet place and whatever. But then I found there's always some bad reviews, and that's where you get the fun. I like figuring out what their beef is.
Right. Why are you so mad?
What's your deal? Yeah. What is this so important to you for to review the town?
Yeah.
Well, here's one. Here's a 2-star review. Quote, I lived in Streamwood in 2000. The neighborhood used to be very family oriented, but over the years, more gang affiliated families moved in.
Oh.
Those gang babies when they come in. Mom, dad, the babe, they're all of them, all in their colors. You got to watch out for that. When you see a mother with a stroller and you're like, I got to watch out for both of them, might rob me, that's an issue.
Yeah.
So I get where this person's coming from. I hate it when grandmas are the worst. When you got gang grandma,
right,
you're in deep shit right there.
She's the OG.
Yeah, mine is. Yeah, I gotta tell them about this. My grandmother she's doing well, as we've said in previous episodes. She's doing much better, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Miraculously, zombie grandma.
She's healing.
She's healing very well, I found out yesterday, or Monday, while we were recording Crime and Sports. Sarah went over to bring her some chicken parmesan that she had made.
Yeah.
And so, that's a good sign, too. Grandma wants chicken parmesan.
Yeah.
So anyway, while she's talking to Grandma informs her that earlier that day, and my aunt was there to see this, her home health care worker was there. She's got a lady that comes over and checks on her and does her vitals and all that shit.
Thank God for her.
She called the lady a putan to her face. She was sitting there, and Grandma looked over and didn't like the way she was sitting there and just said, putan, and fucking turned her head back away from her. I'm like, yep, Grandma's feeling better.
Yeah.
Most families, if their grandmother did that, they'd be like, oh no, she's slipping. Like, we got to put her in a home. She's starting to be abusive. When my grandmother's abusive, we're like, hey, she's back. Yay, she's abusive. When she's nice to the healthcare workers, or anybody, I should say, when she's nice to outsiders, that's when she's like looking to get into heaven, and that's a problem. I don't like that, and I worry about her. When she's herself, that means
she's apologizing.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that shit. When she's calling a woman who's there to help her a putan, that means that she's feeling better. So hopefully my aunt explained that to her. That's a good thing.
Right.
She would call you that no matter who you are.
That means she's not going anywhere
That means she's going to live. Thank you, Putan.
Right. That's her new nickname.
That's her new nickname.
It means angel.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, that's what it means.
Don't Google it. That's what it means.
It means beautiful angel who cares for the sick. It was Mother Teresa's nickname, as a matter of fact. Everyone called her Putan. That's how it worked.
Putan Teresa. That's what that is.
It was Putana Mother Teresa. If you knew her well, you just called her Putana. And she was like, oh, okay. Hi, how you doing? So this review continues. My family moved away in 2005 after a house was being burnt down at night. And at night, many parties were being thrown late at night. The groceries were very close nearby, and everything wasn't a far drive to get to. So I guess that's positive. That gets you the extra star.
Or is that a bad thing?
I guess.
He's pissed.
The house is being burnt down? I don't know what's going on there. Why? There's a house burning. We have to leave town.
And when I want to get away from my wife, the grocery store is too close.
It's too close. She's right there. She'll be there in minutes. Here's another 2-star review. Now this, I don't know why this is the town's fault. This is shit that happens.
Yeah.
Quote, a few years ago, there was an escaped criminal running around the library.
Awesome.
Okay, how is that the town? What is it? Was it escaped criminal reading fucking day?
Right.
Was it read stories with escaped criminals day? Unless it was, I don't think you can blame anyone for that. That's just.
Did they hire him and ask him?
That's what I mean.
Right.
Yeah. Was he there to giving like
was
a
he
talk?
Invited?
Was he reading to the children? Come on, kids. Let's read the Berenstain Bears.
Will you please escape and then come run around here?
Just as like a spectacle for the people.
With the Berenstain Bears wrapped around your dick.
Yeah. Going, that's right. Going up to kids and going, you want to know what the story is?
Right. How's that for scholastic?
Why don't you read this book? So, and then also they continue this, obviously. Quote, at the local high school, there's also been incidents of fights.
Oh.
And even someone with a gun.
Oh.
Not at the high school. Oh. Yeah, that's high school. That's incidents of fights? Yeah, that's a high school.
Right.
When you get teenage boys together, they fight each other. That's what happens.
Was the gun, used as, a weapon?
Just had it.
Somebody had one there.
Someone had a gun.
Didn't we have an episode where a guy just had one in the truck?
Yeah, it just happens.
He just brings it sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes they hang out. And here's a 2-star. Quote, there are a plethora of average restaurants like Applebee's and Friday's. Nothing fancy. There are some, in capital letters, nice restaurants, but not enough to make a difference. Okay, now this person here, the 1-star, he's got a grudge. Oh, there's an axe to grind here, boy. And at the end, you can see exactly what it is because it's a very specific thing where you're like, that had to have happened to you, sir. Quote, this town is garbage, which is a strong...
Yeah.
You want to do the pyramid, he's not burying the lead. I'll give him that. You know what I mean?
This is what it is. Hang in there. I'll tell you why.
Journalistically, he's not burying the lead.
Yeah.
Quote, village leadership only cares about revenue generation. Streamwood charges an exit tax whenever you sell your home and move to a different city. No street parking or it's a ticket. Well, are the roads wide enough to park on? Maybe that's why. If you park in your own driveway, and if the car is even an inch over the curb or sidewalk, it's a ticket. When companies try to build new businesses in Streamwood, they must come to town hall and face the abuse of the village president and the board. Oh, my.
They roast you before you open a business?
I think it's like if you're trying to join a frat in the 50s, you have to get paddled and you have to run the gauntlet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stick things up your butt, I feel like.
Pencil in your ass.
Yeah. You're like, I just want to open a chicken store in the fucking Jesus Christ. You're like, nope, bend over.
I bought a Subway franchise.
We're going to put this right up your ass. Sorry. I don't care if you want to run a Dick's Sporting Goods in a strip mall. You're going to face the fucking wrath for that.
How dare you buy an Auntie Anne's?
Yeah, you fucking Jesus Christ. So yeah, they must face the abuse, not even the scrutinism.
Yeah.
The abuse.
What abuse? I wonder what. I want to know what they. I want to go to this meeting.
You want to open a business? You fucking loser, huh? What do you want to? Tell you what, pull your pants down. Let's see your dick. See if your dick's big enough to run a business in my town. Look at this little pecker. Little pecker businesses in my town. What the hell's going on here?
He goes, you are so dumb. And then the rest of the panel goes, how dumb is he?
How dumb is he? They got a whole shtick they do.
It's like a friar's roast.
And then he reaches into a hat and pulls out a piece of paper that tells you how dumb he is. He's got a whole fucking hat full of them.
All the punchlines.
For everybody.
They're all in there.
They're all in there. Well, says here, he's so dumb. That's beautiful.
Jesus.
So when the Toyota dealership was proposed, they ultimately approved. It says the, not they. So I had to kind of translate that one. They ultimately approved, but were extremely rude to the company trying to bring jobs to town. Okay, seriously, seemed like a kiss the ring kind of moment. This guy really, it's a town, dude. Yeah. There's 30,000 people here. Relax. There's no ring kissing going on.
They make you bring your wife in there and then weigh her in front of everybody.
Let's see her tits.
She's about 5 pounds heavy for our town.
I don't know about that, but like I said, if we see her tits, I might change my mind. If they're nice enough, maybe that's why that extra 5 pounds might be helpful for her.
She's about 5 pounds heavy, but she carries it in the right places.
That's all I'm talking about. Yeah, that's maybe if there's abuse. That would be abuse.
Yeah.
Very abusive. Schools are mediocre at best. This town is crumbling and they will fine you to death in Streamwood. You need permits for everything! ! Even if you are replacing something with exactly the same thing like an AC unit. That's happened to him. He got fined for not getting a permit for exchanging his fucking AC unit, and this has been born since then. And steer clear of Streamwood! ! Yeah. So people in this town, wow, that's an angry person, right?
He's mad.
Very angry. Mm-hmm. This town is garbage.
Yeah.
You want to run into him down at the post office, don't you? Jesus Christ. What's up, Bob? Fuck you. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Stamps go up again. That's the
Christ.
Federal government, sir. We have nothing to do with that.
Bill, how are you? Goddamn pothole on my street again. That's how I am. They'll fine you for everything. They won't fix the fucking potholes, will they?
Bumper hanging over the crack out of my
Sons
driveway.
Of bitches.
$125. That's how I am.
That's how I am. He's going to fucking shoot up the DMV or something. Yeah. Watch out. So people in this town, right now there's 40,615, so right at our peak. Yeah. But when the murder happened, there was about 30,000, so it happened in the 90s. It's up 31% since 1990, so it's a pretty good growth here. Very average in terms of stats. Male, female, average age is about 38. A few less old people than average, a couple more kids. It all balances out. Married population's normal, just over 50%. Even the divorce rate's exactly the same. It's really your average suburban town. Like if any suburb, this is as normal as you can be. Single with no children, it's all the same. Race of this town, this is a little different though. Race, 48.6% white, which is lower than the average, and way lower than the average for this show for small town murder. 4.4% black, which is 40 minutes outside of Chicago. That seems on purpose or something. That's a lot of those Chicago suburbs back in the day were known as quite racist, and they would have the Klan would march through them and shit. It was some problems. I'm not saying that happened here, but maybe that's why there's some of these suburbs have less black people in them than you would imagine there would be.
Generally, people don't say gang families about white people.
That's what I mean. That had a real
racist tinge to it.
That's
you got Hector and Carlos over there.
We had 4%. Now it's when you hear this too, it is 12.8% Asian, by the way, which I think is the most we've ever had.
That's
probably
impressive.
Maybe a town in Washington or something had more, but that's a lot. And Hispanic, 31.9%.
That's what the guy was saying.
That's what he's exactly. He's like the damn friggin' the Mexicans and the damn whatever the hell they are. I don't know what the fuck they are. Dominicans or some shit. I don't goddamn know. That's
gangsters.
Gangsters. I don't know. Bunch of Carlo Escobars.
Right.
That's what he calls them. Carlo Escobar. Bunch of Carlo Escobars coming in here. Huh?
Yeah.
What, sir?
What, say again?
What was that?
You got the amount of letters right.
You know that someone said that. Now 60% religious here.
Okay.
So that's a lot of religious, and also there's between the Polish and the Hispanic people, 38.7% Catholic. It is hardcore. Catholics are the Baptists of the North, and we're in the North here. A couple of Lutherans, a Methodist or two. 1.1% Jewish.
What?
Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila, Hava Nagila. I don't know the words. Hey. We're very happy about that.
I enjoy that.
That's great. I get to sing. 3.9% Islam. So it's a pretty diverse little town for a burb, you know. Voting wise in Cook County, which encompasses Chicago, obviously, 74% Democrat in the last election, 20% Republican, a few independents here and there. Unemployment rate is about normal for now. It was a little bit low, actually, COVID. Household income is actually a little bit high, though. It's usually about $57,000 in the rest of the country. Here it is $80,152.
That's good money.
Not bad, yeah. And if you have the option, a lot of times the small towns we talk about aren't near a big city, so there's not a lot of places to work where anything that's within an hour of a big city, you're going to get that higher household income.
Like Chicago. There's law firms and marketing places.
Absolutely. Financial shit there, money. Commodities. Yeah. There's all sorts of stuff going on there. So, cost of living here is not bad either. 100 is regular, average. Here it's 102.
Wow.
So not bad for compared to the income.
Sure.
The median home cost is $197,000, which is
great
for under 200 grand. Yeah, and the rest of the country it's 231 grand.
When you're averaging 80 grand, that'll work.
That's not bad. You can make that work
and have a good life.
If you want to have a good life and move to Streamwood, Illinois, don't. By the way, hang your car out of the driveway or exchange your AC unit. But if you're ready for everything else, we have for you the Streamwood, Illinois Real Estate Report. Your average two-bedroom rental here goes for about $1,780, which is very high compared to the real estate costs. If a house is $180, two-bedroom rental shouldn't be it's $1,800 a month. That's wild. That's very high. And I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,000-square-foot condo. A lot of condos for sale here. This is $145,000.
Okay.
And there was other condos, kind of like more apartment-y type things. This is like a duplex actual house. Like some of them were more apartments that were a little less. But
1 bedroom?
3-bed, 2-bath.
Oh, that's not bad.
1,000 square feet, so it's crammed in there. think that's like maybe for college kids or something. 4-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,225 square foot actual detached house with a yard and everything, $215,000. Okay. Not bad. Then you want to lay back a little bit here. You're the head of the gang.
Yeah.
You're doing well. I found a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,586 square foot. Very nice house. Nice yard. All brick facade.
Absolutely.
Super house here. $465,000 for that bad boy.
Affordable, though, if you're doing well.
Yeah, if you're looking for a house like that, that's a good price for it. The rest of the country, there's a lot,
It's tough to get that.
It's tough to get that places for that price. That's not bad. So things to do here, not a lot going on. I mean, Chicago's right there.
Yeah.
So go over there. What are you doing?
It's a 40-minute drive to fun. That's what you're going to be dealing with.
You could go see baseball games and football games, basketball games, hockey, and food is there and everything else. I love Chicago. Whenever we go there, we always stay a couple extra days and hang.
I like to call it the most romantic city in America.
I love it, man.
It's just such a warm. It's such a warm hug. That city.
It's good stuff, man.
I mean,
love
apart
it.
from the crime rate being crazy right now.
But still, go to Byron's, get a hot dog. Oh yeah,
it's
man.
A great city, man.
That's good stuff, dude.
I love it.
So then Chicago people will know what I'm talking about there. So things to do is the Streamwood Summer Celebration.
Yeah, may as well.
This is what happened last year because it's canceled this year.
Of course.
Around the World in 3 days was the theme last year.
Oh, boy.
Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah. Features a full lineup of music, food, and children's entertainment, carnival games, carnival rides, games, bingo, and a beer tent.
All right.
New this year will be hot air balloon rides, a canine demonstration. This is a dog.
Yeah. It bites shit.
He will bite and wag make him happy, his tail will wag.
Right.
Very good. They put him away. And a local music showcase.
Yeah.
Of course. On the main stage, the musical entertainment starts Friday with Voyage at 5:30 p.m. You want to be in the broad daylight of a summer festival. And then American English will bring their unique Beatles tribute at 8:30 p.m., which sounds fucking horrible.
No.
Terrible. Saturday night entertainment starts with Rosie and the Rivets at 5:30, and then Seventh Heaven at 8:30 p.m. Yikes. The opening, and then there's an opening band at 3 p.m.
Is it called Happy Days?
Backcountry Roads.
All right.
And then, so there's that. Then there's a children's stage also, and a canine demonstration by Topps Kennel. Holy shit, this is...
Oh, that sounds like they make them do tricks and shit.
They probably have them do tricks and stuff like that and bite people. They probably have a guy in the suit and they have him bite somebody. I so want to let Frankie do that. So
Just
bad.
Let her bite shit.
I want to get somebody in a big suit and have him run across my backyard because she's dying to eat something.
It's just a carpeted arm. Just
I know. Tell her to go do it.
Buy you a doormat if you want.
She won't bite me though. She won't bite me. It's got to be a stranger.
Yeah, that's right.
She won't bite me.
Just scream ouch and then wrap anybody else in the house in carpet.
She'll bite them
apart.
Yeah, she's crazy. She's obsessed with me. It's weird. She stares at me. She just loves me, dude. It's weird. If Sarah tickles me, she comes over. She's like freaked out. Don't do that. Relax, dog. Jesus Christ. So there will be unlimited carnival rides with purchase of a $20 wristband. So there's that there. Enjoy all of that shit. Blah, blah, blah. Bingo as well.
Yeah,
so have
of course
fun.
There is.
Crime rate in this town, what we're interested in, of course. The crazy stuff. Property crime is about 1/3 under the national average. So... It's actually very safe for all these people who are like, there's gangs moving in. Well, they're not doing anything if there are.
Statistically, it's working out.
They're just hanging. Yeah. So I don't know what the fuck you care who's living next to you. But violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault, the Mount Rushmore, how you can really judge the safety of a place is half the national average. Quit your bitching.
This place is great.
It's fucking fine.
You're making money and you can afford your house.
Safe as fuck.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. You're close enough.
40 minutes from one of the best cities in the world.
You're almost close enough to catch a bullet that's been fired up into the air.
From downtown
downtown. Almost close enough for that, but not quite.
Yeah.
You're still safe, and Chicago's right there. Shut your fucking mouths and quit your bitching. Enjoy your nice city. Christ almighty. So with that said, I think it's time to talk about some murder.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News & World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Yeah. Some murder, I say, because we got... this right here, guys.
You got a dose?
Buckle the fuck up, first of all. Buckle up on this one because it's something else. We're going to start out with, you'll see. We'll just follow the trail and we'll go from there and you'll see what it is. There will be a few graphic parts here, and when they come up, I'll let you know ahead of time that they're coming so you can fucking brace yourself or click ahead of 30 seconds or do whatever you got to do. Or if you're really weird, fucking settle in and, I don't know, hear it. I don't know what the fuck you want. Yeah, whatever you want to do, but we'll let you know ahead of time, give you a little warning. But let's start out in the 90s. We're going to go back to 1995.
All right.
So, 95 is, it's good times there. That's, there's internet, not fast enough to do anything with, other than email and shit, but it's there. Yeah. So there was that. It was like the cusp of another time, 95.
The fringes of the internet were beginning with the weird chat rooms here and
everybody,
there.
From 93 on, everybody was had those AOL discs and people, every kid I knew was on chat and shit. I didn't have a computer, but everybody was chatting. I remember a girlfriend of mine in the 10th grade got in trouble for running up a $600 AOL bill in chat rooms because they used to charge you by the minute past your 20 free hours on that disc or whatever. And she got fucking grounded for a month. I had to break up with her over it. I couldn't deal with it.
I gotta break up with
I did. I was in 10th grade. I was wow, you're not allowed out for a month? I don't like you that much.
Our
you know what I mean?
career's over.
Yeah, I don't like you that much. It's fleeting in 10th grade. What do you care?
Yeah, that's true.
It's any little thing goes wrong, you're well, that's that. So
I used to like to go into lesbian chat rooms and pretend to be a lesbian. That was my favorite thing.
When you were a teenager? Just to hang out?
It was so much fun.
Just to hear what was going on?
Yeah.
Jesus, you were horny. You were so horny. You're it's all chicks. Meanwhile, it's all guys. It's all you.
It was just a bunch
of teenagers sitting there
pretending to be lesbian.
Then I stick stuff in her. That's what I do. And you're whoa, hot.
Well, I stick stuff in me.
Yeah, and you're hot.
Oh, this is great.
This is great. Then we rub on each other and stuff. And you're yeah, tell me more, baby.
Tell me more.
Yeah.
17-year-old Jeff.
This is hot.
Who's telling me her name's Ariana?
Yeah, this is fucking good stuff right here. That's what was going on.
I remember one time it was we talked for quite a while. It was we were just friends. It wasn't I wasn't trying to just be filthy with some girl, but eventually I was I got a secret to tell you. And she goes, you, and I said I, and she said R, and I said am, and she said a guy, asshole. And she flooded my screen with asshole.
You kind of deserved it. To be honest with you, deserved it.
She finished the sentence for me. She already knew.
Well, yeah.
Because I'm sure there were several indicators
vagina's super hot and I dig it, and Makes me all horny and stuff.
I figured they'd never be able to tell because they're into the same thing I am. They can't see my face. They get it.
Yeah, they understand where you're coming from. We don't condone that behavior. You wouldn't do that. I was dying
laughing every time I heard a little chime that said another word popped up, and it just said asshole.
Uh-oh. Whoops.
I think she's mad.
Oh, man. Well, she thought she found a nice lady, and it's not.
I'm so sorry.
The opposite of a nice lady. It's a teenager who's already losing his hair.
I'm not a nice lady. I'm a mean young boy.
Yeah,
that's what I am.
That's what I am, an asshole young boy. Not good.
Yeah.
That's where Jimmy was in 95. And getting busted stealing UFC video games from Sears, which is very sad.
That's embarrassing.
Should have bought a house, like we said before. Instead, he's getting video games. Yeah, this is a interesting time. So 95, that's what I like about this show, too, is we could be in the 80s, we could be in the 60s, it could be from last year. Like, we go all around. In the 90s, this is an interesting time because there's DNA right now. Yeah. That's the problem. We do these, 80s murders, and they're like, we don't know where to fuck. There's
blood everywhere. I don't know how to solve this.
We found out it's type A blood.
Right.
So there's that. So it could be anyone from about 72% of the population, but outside of that, we got a pretty good lead on. Whereas now it's, the crime fighting is a little more technical.
We'd like to get fingerprints off the murder weapon, but it's covered in blood, and we have no idea how to.
Super gross. We put it in a bag, but there's blood all in the bag.
Nobody wants to touch it.
It's getting sticky too, and no, I don't want to touch it. It's pretty gross. I remember hand sanitizer. I'm not touching it.
There's no way we're solving this.
Well, sometimes people got to die. So January 16th, 1995, I'm trying to think of where I was at that point. I know there was a big blizzard a month later in New York, if I'm not mistaken. So I remember that. I remember pushing my friend's car up a street.
January?
In February, it was a blizzard. And I remember we were pushing a car in 2 feet of snow. Yeesh. That had broken down while police were behind us, mocking us through the loudspeaker, calling us names.
Yeah.
And, slurs and shit, literally racial slurs and everything you could think of.
None of which matched you.
No, right. no, they did. Actually, some of us.
Okay.
Because it was
a hodgepodge of people.
Yeah, we had a bunch of dudes, a black kid, a Puerto Rican kid, and me, another Italian kid, and so he was you fucking. He let him fly. It was 2 cops, and they let it fly through the loudspeaker in the streets at us while we pushed a car through the snow.
Can pretty much hit that group of kids with every racial slur, so they were having a heyday.
Oh, they did. It was everything. They were going off on it. They were really call us everything but fucking crackers, I guess.
Yeah.
I was a guinea and
anything that has to do with women.
Actually,
was fun. You can call them women things.
They call
us
pussies.
That's much more insulting. Because I'm not.
So, come on. So, January 16th, 1995, there's a German Shepherd, a very happy German Shepherd from all accounts. Aren't they? They're happy tail wagging.
Such good dogs.
It's a rural area, and the dog goes out on its own and, goes in the woods and comes back and does all his things, You know how dogs are back then. Has a dog day. Yeah, he's not living near a big highway or anything, so you can let the dog out. Well, his name is Friendly.
Yeah.
What a great name. Friendly the German Shepherd. Well, Friendly comes home after being, rummaging around for a while, comes up to the door. Owners go to let Friendly in. Friendly is carrying with him in his mouth a 2-foot-long section of a human leg.
Oh, no.
Which is unexpected.
Skin and clothes and everything?
It's a 2-foot section of the human leg that is determined to be freshly severed with what they described as a very sharp instrument, more likely a machine than a handsaw.
What?
So not even no one hacked the leg off. This is
somebody
zipped this shit off.
Wow.
And this is out in a rural wooded area here, so this guy is holy shit, my dog found a fucking leg.
Yuck.
And, at first, they believe the guy that the dog found the leg. There's no, reason to say my dog found a leg and I have a piece of a leg if you didn't find a leg. Yeah. So they look into this. They determine, the coroner does, that the part of the leg, it's basically a shin. It's below just below the knee and above the foot. Okay. That section of leg is there. So,
as an Italian that you are, would you tell the dog, put it back?
Yeah. Mind your fucking business. Hey, mind your business.
Where'd you find it? Put it back.
I'm so torn with if I ever stumble across a body with what to do, because you know, for the most part, this person probably has a family that's worried about them and looking for them, so you want that to get resolved. But at the same time, they're still going to be dead, and you're now involved. Right. And now they're going to talk to you and question you. Remember Serial?
Yeah.
That fucking guy who found Heyman Lee, oh my God, they ran that guy through the fucking gauntlet. We talked about it.
Ruined life.
I mean, it happens. If you find a body, you are the first suspect because you're the one standing next to a dead human body. So like, well, let's make sure that person didn't kill it first, you know.
The guy that found the bomb in Centennial Park, they drug that man through the news for 4 months as if he did it.
You don't want to be the person who finds anything. So this person, luckily his dog found it, and they weren't like, friendly, were you bad boy?
I may have learned my mind your business lesson today. In traffic, a man didn't have brake lights. So I pulled up next to him. I said, sir, you don't have any brake lights. And he rolled down. He reached across his car, James, to roll his window down. So obviously it's not going great already.
Yeah.
And then he goes, what? And I said, your brake lights don't work. And he put his head in his hands and goes, I can't take it anymore.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. What did I just start?
What you just did was you broke the camel's back. You threw one extra piece of straw on, and he just went
at a red light
to the ground.
The man looked at his palms and said, I can't take it anymore.
Sobbing into his palms.
So if you hear of a man who goes on a shooting rampage in Arizona, it's probably him.
Well, hopefully he'll just take out himself.
He was already at the end of it.
Yeah.
And I'm done. If I see brake lights that aren't working, I'm going to keep moving.
That's your problem, mister. I don't know what to tell you.
Not my business.
Mind your own business. Follow my grandmother's advice. Mind your own business. And
that's what went through my head. As soon as he put his hands in his face in his hands, upset, I was like, James would say, what are you doing?
Yeah. Why?
Why'd you do it?
Why'd you tell him? He'd have found out eventually.
He would have.
Someone would have.
Whether somebody runs into him or somebody tells him, it's on them.
It's on them and not on you. Keep driving. Act like you're a ghost going through the world. That's the best way to do it. So, telling you, mind your business. Listen to my grandmother. Mind your business. Mind your business. Now, this leg is obviously, police are like, holy shit. Yeah. All we know is it seems to be from a Caucasian woman in her late teens to early 20s. That's all. So it's like that's the only thing they can tell from the coroner.
Cops are amazing.
That's a coroner.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Somebody's amazing.
Medical people are pretty wild.
I'd look at a leg and go, it's a leg.
I mean, probably white.
Right.
Looking at it.
I can tell you that.
Otherwise,
a woman?
Yeah, they could tell. I've probably shaved, would be my guess.
Listen, I shave them too.
Not all of them. Not all. You're hairy right now. I'm looking at you're trim.
Yeah.
I'm talking,
well, I suppose.
Who knows? So
I get down pretty low.
We don't know. I get you. So the police initially, what they think is it's a medical school prank. That's what they believe it is. Okay. They believe because medical schools have access to cadavers and parts, and they feel like this is some kind of, like a frat thing where they go place a body part somewhere and it gets found. And it's some sort of medical school prank. That's what they believe it is because there's a medical school somewhere around there. And they're like, it's got to be a medical school prank. It's too, the way it's severed and the way it is, it's like, it's clean. It's too clean.
Remember last time? Yeah. It's them again.
It's them again. Remember them? Fucking cut-ups. I hope Scooter got into the fraternity because he did a good job. He put that thing in my desk drawer. I opened it up. I was like, oh, my goodness. I reached for a Butterfinger, and it was other fingers, if you know what I mean. And I was like, oh, shit. Jesus Christ, there's a hand in my drawer.
Put my stapler in a femur.
Oh, you know how that goes. So, yeah. But they actually think like, okay, it's probably a prank, but we should probably check it out anyway, obviously, because it is a human leg.
Good.
It's a good idea. So the sheriffs come out and they continue to search, and they bring with them a 140-pound bloodhound named Sir Lancelot.
Wow.
A giant bloodhound trained to detect the scent of decomposing flesh. He's a fucking cadaver dog.
Yeah.
Probably a good dog.
That's a big-ass dog.
That's a big dog with a big...
140-pound bloodhound?
He's got a big head with big wrinkles. You
so
could just
many ears.
grab him and be like, you shall go boy. You grab his wrinkles on his head and you shall go boy. And he goes,
ears down to his shoulders.
Yeah. You do like you do with Benny. Just grab him by the face skin. You guys, "I'll good boy."
Shake it.
He's like, "That's right, I am." That's what I'm talking about.
A lot of bloodhound.
That's a lot. So he's looking for decomposing flesh. The January 17th through the whole course of the day, they do not find anything else. So that kind of puts more thought toward the medical school prank theory. Wednesday, the next day, January 18th, the search is continued. By the end of the next day, they decide, call it off. They called it off. They said it's got to be a prank. Yeah. We found nothing else. So just to have that one part somewhere is really unlikely. It's for the police is what they're thinking. Like, this has got to be a medical school prank. That's what we're going to call it for now, and we're going to move on. We're going to go, it was a prank, and go back to the station and hope nothing else happens. Hope we're not notified of anything else here. So that's that. Problem is, that's January 18th. January 21st, though, 3 days after they call off the search and 5 days after the first leg was found, Friendly comes home again.
You son of a bitch!
Fucking Friendly comes home.
What? Oh, no.
Same German Shepherd, Friendly. He comes home with the right leg. He found the left leg first. Now he comes home with the right version of the exact... the mirror version of the other leg, except the right side of it.
Same length and everything?
Same length, severed the same way, everything except the right leg, not the left leg.
That ain't a prank anymore.
Now it's not. Now the cops are like, uh-oh. Number one, and why Friendly is Friendly the greatest cadaver dog in the world? They brought in Lancelot here.
Time to retire Lancelot and hire Friendly.
What the fuck, man? So, he returns home with a right leg cut from the ankle to the middle thigh. It was above the knee, not below the knee. The other one was, too. So the police fucking... put another team out there and search more. Now, what they end up doing, though, is once they search around a little bit and they talk, they decide that, this is probably a murder and not a medical school prank with the two different things. It's just unlikely that that's what it is. So Monday, January 23rd, they take the legs to the lab. I assume before that, but that day they find out, the only thing they can figure out at this point is that it's a woman. Okay. That's it. It's a woman's blood type. That's it. That's all they know. It's a woman, and they got their blood, and they got her blood type. Okay. So, yay. Yeah. That's the information they know.
We got something.
That's not much. Mm-hmm. So they get so fucking desperate because their dog couldn't find anything. They bring in teams of other dogs. No one can find anything. The only fucking dog that can find anything is Friendly.
Right.
So the whole police department comes, and they equip Friendly. They're like, Friendly's the one. Friendly knows where this shit is. No one else does. So they put a big device on Friendly, like a GPS device, but it's 95, so it's not like a chip like you can put in somebody now on a dog now.
It's a microwave.
It's a fucking box thing they put on him. So apparently, and then they just were like, okay, Friendly, go on. Yeah. And then they tried to just walk behind him a distance. So
they need a GoPro. So
that's
bad.
What I'm saying. They had so the dog basically, they hope that it would lead them to parts, but the dog gets distracted by the device thing, by the GPS. He's all kind of freaked out by it. And then they said, this is great, quote, the dog didn't find anything and gets distracted, wants to play with officers following him rather than continue the search.
He's a good boy.
How fucking great is Friendly? The dog, they're like, go on, and they're following him. He's like, he's jumping, and they're like, he's a good boy.
Find his fucking arm,
They just wanted to play.
Find the rest of it.
Nope, not if you're following me. We're going to play. Friendly's a good boy. That's what happens.
God, I want him.
Yeah, so meanwhile, while this is all going on, they send a piece of muscle tissue from one leg to Maryland to a lab for DNA typing, basically, so they can at least have one profile, and they can try to, any other body parts come up, maybe they can match them up, basically. So since then, though, they have the thousands of hours in a very short amount of time, man hours and dog hours, searching this area, looking for, because the dog can only search for like an hour and then they get tired.
Sure.
Half hour even. They have to change out dogs.
Right.
That's very common. I mean, watch your dog. How long is it awake before it passes out?
Right.
Not very. 2 hours is, and that's if it's hanging out. If it's like searching and sniffing, it's about an hour.
I'm sure I could keep a dog busy for like 3-4 hours, but
probably.
You got to focus energy on them.
Yeah.
And throw a ball or walk them.
And they're going to get distracted. Yeah. Dogs don't focus for 4 straight hours
and then
either.
They'll sleep for 2 days straight.
Yeah, that's it. Then they're done. So they're trying to figure it out, exactly what it is, who it is. Saturday, January 28th, investigators announced that they believe they know who it is. They're pretty sure it's a 21-year-old woman named Melanie Hostetler who disappeared from her home in Valparaiso, Indiana. like 2 weeks before that.
Okay.
So that's the first thing, or 3 weeks before that. That's who they think it is at first. Now, February 3rd, blood samples are taken from everybody and going all around. All these crime labs are trying to compare things. So March 3rd comes around, 1995. The property owner where the parts were found, where the legs were found, is he has rental properties on his property, and he cannot rent them out.
No.
He's having a hard time because in the last, month and a half, his property's become the body parts property. So he literally is like freaking out because he can't rent out his stuff anymore. So he calls out police and everything else to search his property more so he could clear it of all body parts, basically, because you can say, I don't have body parts, you can live here.
Right.
Like, just for like a marketing thing to have people buy his fucking shit.
Poor bastard.
Yeah, so he was upset about it. So it's located right across the street from where Friendly found the legs. So it's that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So he goes, I want to show that there's nothing on my property so people will rent it.
It's not even his dog that found him.
No. He lives across the street.
Oh, Jesus.
He lives across the street. It's not even Friendly.
Goddamn dog wandered onto my property and ruined my fucking life.
Yeah, well, they don't know where the dog found him. So found the parts. So this guy just wants to spell the rumor that maybe they came from his property so he can, nobody wants to rent a house, go in the backyard and find an arm.
That'd be bad. Yeah.
That's what I think is the driving people away. So he said that he couldn't find a tenant because of the publicity around the discovery of the legs. So, as he put it, in an attempt to dispel any suspicions about his 30-acre wooded property, the man, he wouldn't identify himself in the paper either because he felt embarrassed. They arranged to have Kay Watt of Springfield and her trained cadaver dog named Hawthorne search it all out. Hawthorne's a big Irish setter, I believe, or a golden retriever. I don't remember. So about 2 hours into the search, it's a golden retriever, by the way. Okay. 2 hours into the search, old Hawthorne uncovers a human skull.
Ow, it bit him in the ass.
From some densely wooded underbrush in a swampy area. This guy went, fuck! God damn it, that's worse than a leg.
I was wrong.
That's worse than a leg. A skull? You'd rather find a leg than a skull, wouldn't you?
That's the guy that's...
Fuck.
He knows everywhere he's been and knows that he's never put a body on his own property.
Yeah.
But he's got too much fucking land. That's what it is.
That's
and you have
exactly.
no idea what anybody else has put out there.
It's fucked up. So... and there's more here. The preliminary examination of the skull, they eliminate the Melanie Hostetler woman as the possible donor of the skull, I guess, for lack of a better term. Not a voluntary donor, but so forensic experts are waiting to try to match this skull to another missing young woman who we'll talk about in a minute. They're trying to match this skull to x-rays from a dental appointment from this other woman. So they're looking for dental records here. They have a team of a half dozen dogs from Illinois and Wisconsin, plus search and rescue teams. I mean, it's a fucking, imagine the fanning out. They know some shit's there now. So, he returned, they returned again with Hawthorne, and, they looked for, they couldn't find anything else. So 3 other times they'd brought dogs onto the property where the skull was found, but never found anything before Hawthorne was found it. So it's not an exact science. These dogs sniffing for shit at all. Not an exact science. I mean, they send teams out and Friendly still comes home with a leg. So what do you want here? So it's possible that the dogs missed finding the skull, but they also said that the skull could have been dragged there by animals as well.
Sure.
And left behind. So, but it was somewhere in the area, probably, is what they're getting at. So March 25th, 1995, there's a man in Bristol, nearby town, and he's doing some yard work, cleaning up the old yard. It's springtime, it's a nice thing here. And he's just cleaning out some bushes and bushy area here, and he finds a hand.
Oh, no.
It's a human hand, and partially decomposed, obviously. It's the 8700 block of 184th Street here.
Wrist down the whole thing?
Yeah, it's about this is in Wisconsin, about 5 miles north of the Illinois border, this is. So it's on the other side even. The hand is identified as belonging to a young woman, again, matches the legs in skin tone and everything else. So they're continue to investigate here. About a month after the hand was found, he's doing more yard work. About 400 feet away, he finds a foot.
No!
This guy's like, fuck gardening! I do this to relax.
Oh, my God.
This is what I do to relax.
Right.
I come out here, I'm going to put some begonias in and I'm going to plant some green beans, and instead I'm finding fucking feet and hands. This is not relaxing.
That's a guy that has every right in the world and every reason to go, I can't take it anymore!
I can't take it anymore! Not that, and my brake lights? No! Fuck! So this guy's name is Bill Glembaki. He's the fucking unluckiest guy going. He gets interviewed and he says, quote, "What is it in the mind of the individual who did this terrible thing? Who could dismember another human being and then dispose of the body parts at different locations?" Because this is nowhere near the other place.
Right.
He says, quote, "It's disquieting for people to think that these body parts are being placed at various locations by someone since they could not be thrown from a car because they're too far. So someone must be getting out of a car, going into the woods and dumping off a part here, driving somewhere else, dumping off a part there.
Yeah.
This is too far from the road. He's not just winging fucking shins out." Yeah.
He's not newsboying.
Exactly. He's not doing a paperboy impression.
Doesn't have him like in the front of his basket.
Yeah, on his bicycle. There's a shin. I got a hand. A foot for this guy.
You
what the
get a
hell?
foot.
We'll put it in the garden. That'll be a nice discovery.
Oh, my God, this is terrible.
So who is it? Well, they finally figure out who this is.
All the pieces go to one girl.
All the pieces go to one particular woman.
Thank God.
And they,
obviously.
they match it from DNA. She has been missing, so they take a sample, and they also take a sample from her parents to see if it's her, and they find out exactly who it is. And it's a young woman who, at the time, is 24 years old, very young, so they had the age right anyway. Stacy Russell McDonald Frobel. Okay. McDonald and Frobel are two married names on her. Her actual state, whatever, said McDonald because that was her previous husband, but she had just got married and was also using Frobel. So that's how they work it. It's just Stacy Frobel in all the newspapers and everything like that. She's born February 4th, 1970 as Stacy Ann Russell back then. It's obviously her maiden name. At the time of her disappearance, she's had a tough life, Stacy. A bit of a tough life. She was unemployed at the time of her disappearance. She'd worked on and off as like a gas station clerk and a waitress and some menial jobs. And I mean, she's 24 and trying to figure out what the hell to do with herself, basically.
Certainly allowed.
So, you don't have to find. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Jesus.
24, forget it. She also, though, has a 5-year-old son at the time as well, named Daniel, who at the time is in the care of her mother. Okay. She goes and sees Daniel and takes Daniel for times.
She doesn't have custody.
She gave custody to her mother, and she said it was until she felt like she could take care of the baby better. Which, honestly,
that's the most mature thing I've ever heard for a 24-year-old.
At the time, she was 20 when she did that. He was a baby. So
brilliant.
That is the most. You can say what you want about how can a mother abandon her child. That is the most mature thing. If a woman or a man, whoever, if they know that you can't take care of this child the proper way that they need to be taken care of, for the love of God, let someone else fucking do it. I mean, obviously try, but if you can't, if you're not capable of it, fuck, man, get the kid a better life. It's not about your ego or any of that shit. It's about raising your child. So I commend her for doing that. Absolutely commend her.
What's the least damage? Is it there or is it here?
Absolutely.
That's the one you need to go with.
Yeah, and so she knew she was not having an easy time, and she did that. So she's been married now for 10 months to her second husband. Okay, and we'll talk about that marriage. They found her car on February 10th. And that's when they started really concentrating and wondering if it was her in the yard there. They found her white 1984 Renault Encore.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You don't want that. That's bad stuff.
What a tough fucking time.
An 11-year-old Renault Encore.
Renault.
Oof, man.
Jeez.
I've never even like been in a Renault.
I don't think I have either.
You'd see one and you go, who buys a Renault?
Right. Anytime I've ever seen it, I go, where'd you get it?
Yeah, where would you
There's no Renault dealer in town.
No. And like her, I don't fault her because it's an 84, so she just bought whatever car she could afford, probably. So when you're buying whatever car you can afford and you have $400 or something, you don't give a shit what it is. It runs great and you do it. I bought those cars plenty.
It works now, I'll take it.
I'll fucking take it. But someone at some point bought a new Renault Encore. They went to a dealership and were like, I got a new car, everybody, and pulled it up and they were like, huh? And it was a Renault Encore. Every time you see a car driving on the street that's hideous, like a fucking brown shitbox, think somebody excitedly drove that off the lot one day. They brought it home, parked in the driveway. Everyone came out of the house to look at it. They called their friends. They took pictures and posted it on Facebook. All that shit. That piece of shit. Yeah. Someone was super excited about that, at least for a day.
Every time I see a green car, like forest green or brown, that's the first thought I had. I can't believe you better have got an amazing fucking deal on that.
Yeah, and
why would you pick that?
What the fuck? Yeah, someone was jacked. They bought a new car, so they were excited about it. They came home and were like, look what I got. Showing it off and shit. So they found her car, though, the 84 Renault Encore, in the parking lot of a Hanover Park apartment complex called Glendale Terrace, which is about a mile from one of her girlfriend's homes in Streamwood. Now, her keys were gone and her purse were gone. None of her personal effects were in the car, and the authorities said they couldn't determine how long the car was there. Back then, not everywhere had surveillance cameras everywhere, so you wouldn't be able to tell when it got there. So, genetic testing from the legs found that it was her. Police release a photo with the hopes that someone may have seen her and they can possibly piece this whole thing together. It was hard for them to track down her father. Her father has not seen her since she was an infant. That's the beginning of her saga here. No, her father is Willard Russell, her biological father. He's an electrician who was living in Nashville in 1995, and he said he hadn't seen his daughter since she was an infant. They had to track him down, not easy to do, to obtain a blood sample in order to identify the remains. So apparently he's a big gambler. This guy hangs out at the racetrack and saw his daughter only as an infant, and then spent the next 24 years denying that she was his.
Oh, you dick.
Yeah, did that. Not actually my kid. That was his game. And then once she was gone, guess what? They fucking proved it was, because they matched your DNA to it. So it was your kid, you fucking asshole. Anyway.
Does he feel like a jerk now?
I would hope so. Maybe if he was there, I don't know, something. Maybe she would have been at your house for a barbecue instead of doing this. Anything. Who knows? Or maybe not, but
and P.S. You've got a grandson, dickhead.
And you got a grandson that you probably don't care about. So she was last seen, Stacy Frobel here, was last seen leaving a girlfriend's Streamwood apartment in her white 84 Renault Encore at 12:45 a.m. on January 4th. So that's January 4th. So the 16th is when the first leg was found.
Right.
And
2 weeks.
2 weeks. And the only reason it's not totally decomposed is it's January in Illinois. So it's cold and kept it pretty intact. So her husband reported her missing later that day. And like we said, the Encore was found in the parking lot. Now, all the other body parts weren't identified as Frobel's until 2 months after she disappeared. It was all different things there. And finally, the FBI agents came in and kind of brought everything together. The FBI ended up working on this. They had to reinvestigate the whole thing. Her husband, Jeff Frobel, had filed the missing person. They basically came in and started over, the FBI. They were like, you guys are fucking idiots.
Right.
Starting over from the beginning, and
You're fucking contracting this out to Citizens Dogs. We got it.
Yeah, we're going to take care of this. That's what I'm saying. The amount of different agencies, and then some lady who has cadaver dogs. She's not a law enforcement agency. And then Friendly and this one and that one. Yeah. Everything needs to be under one roof here to figure out what the fuck's going on.
Also, let's question that lady. Why do you have dogs that can smell dead bodies?
Yeah, what are you looking for? Was that like a metal detector? Right. You hoping they got a ring on or something you can take? What are you doing?
The fuck's your problem?
You're a fucking weirdo, lady. That's a weird thing to have, man. I really want to find all the corpses. I'm sure people hire her, that's why. But still, it's weird. So they try to basically figure out what Stacy's lifestyle was and try to build her life and figure out from there what the hell she was. First thing they found out is that she definitely, and this is, nothing against her, no reason to die, but she had affairs with her husband, who they've only been together or married for 10 months. And because of this, she often stayed out all night, so her husband didn't immediately report her missing, is what he says. He's like, well, I mean, she stays out all night all the time, so I didn't report her missing till the next day. So police are a little suspicious about that. Like, you've been together 10 months, and you don't mind her cheating on you, to the point where you're like, I don't know, maybe she'll be home tomorrow.
Jesus.
didn't get mad at her for that or anything like that. So the police are a little suspicious of Jeff here right away.
Some instability.
Yeah, and not reporting her missing till the next day. It's, you know what I mean? It's a little bit shaky. They were said to have a stormy marriage once they look a little further. Initially, Jeff Frobel and a man she reportedly called from her girlfriend's house that night because she's got a boyfriend. She went over to her girlfriend's in Streamwood and called her boyfriend. So initially, those are the two suspects that the police are looking at, Jeff and the boyfriend. Yeah. That's who they want. That's who you look for.
It's logical.
You find a dead body, you go, who was fucking this person?
Right.
First and foremost. That's it.
Yeah.
Were they robbed? Was this for something they had? No? Okay, then who was fucking them? Because that's probably who fucking did it. Or who was trying to fuck them, either one. So they top the the top of the suspect charts here, shooting to the top of the charts in the suspect division. Jeff Frobel, everybody, number one with a bullet, number one with a shin. So problem is they both take lie detector tests and pass brilliantly.
Oh, good Lord.
Perfectly pass. No, not even a fucking...
Nothing to look at.
Nothing to look at. No inconsistencies, nothing. They actually end up both passing two more lie detector tests. They give them each 3 lie detector tests, and they all have credible alibis.
Will a hat trick satisfy you fuckers? So, leave me alone.
3 polygraphs and an alibi is a pretty good clearing of it. But they're like, it has to be one of these two. Who the fuck else could it be? So they're like, it has to be. And then they're like, I guess it's not. Shit.
Oh, my God.
And they really thought so. Yeah. So these leads all dry up, and as far as that goes, and so they start making basically criminal background checks into everybody that she's ever known. Who has something that's a red flag? Because that's what they do. Look for a violent crime, look for a crime against women, something like that.
Oh, this is exhausting.
It's fucking crazy. Her birthday was on February 4th of that year. She would have been 26 or 25. I'm sorry, the next year comes around. The next year, her son, Daniel, who was 6 years old at that time, they sent a happy birthday message on a balloon up, and they put it in the papers. Very fucking sad.
Jesus
6-year-old kid.
Christ.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. Jesus Christ.
We don't even have Oliver.
No.
Oh, my God.
They didn't even have Oliver yet. Now, they said that the police department said they were trying to establish a route of travel taken by the murderer of, where these parts may have been. Is there, like when they do bank robberies, they'll see if there's a pattern. Is it going anywhere?
Put some pins on a map.
Yeah, put some pins on a map. That seems to work.
Start looking at how they match.
Hey, what do they do in the movies?
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know how to do this. Imagine that these FBI guys are like, yeah, we got this, buddy. Yeah, we'll take over local cops. And they're like, all right. And the one goes, what do we do?
I know,
dude.
I know what we don't do. Whatever the fuck they did.
I don't know.
But what's the right course?
I saw this movie once. See that map over there? Get some pins. We're going to go over there. Just start putting pins in. They won't know what the fuck we're doing. They won't know. They'll think it's some fancy FBI shit. They won't know. They'll be like, yeah, it's federal training, buddy. You don't know shit. Like, step aside. Just be like, whoa, we'll do it. Yeah.
Second, somebody get me Hawthorne. Find that fucking dog.
Find the dog. Also, get me Friendly. I'd like to pet him. I hear he's very friendly.
I heard he likes to play. He's shit at finding bodies. And
he's great at it.
He's shit at finding them when we want him to.
Want him to, but if you just let him go do his thing, you can't lord over Friendly.
Right.
Force him to do things. Friendly's a free spirit.
Tell you what, get me Friendly. I'll pet him. Send Hawthorne to do the hard shit.
There you go. That's what makes him a good dog.
And arrest Hawthorne's mom.
Yeah, because she's
questionable
up to something. I feel like let's investigate her. Get me her dog to pet.
Right.
Another dog. I'd like him here to pet too. Get me 2 dogs to pet. Thank you. This investigator said, "quote We also want to figure out what might have been going on in his mind to stop at certain locations and drop off parts. Is there any significance to the locations where he's dropping them off?
Okay,
that's the thing. Does he know somebody there? Is there a significance there, or is there a significance to the pattern? Is there anything they're looking for? Because they're literally trying to put it together. Did he put the feet here and the hands here? Is he trying to form a body on the map? Maybe that's what he's doing. Literally, they have no fucking idea. So they're going through every idea they could possibly think of. They said there's no way to establish how many other body parts may have been moved by animals, what have been destroyed. They never find a torso of any kind, so that's a problem.
It's the worst Easter ever.
It's a bad Easter, yeah. Jesus. Especially when you find what's inside this.
Yeah,
it's not.
That's not a good egg.
That is not a Jolly Rancher.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So here's a friend on Stacy, because Stacy has had no voice here, so the friend... Susan Blanchard is her name, has known her since childhood. She talks in the paper just to try to give her humanize this person as a person rather than a leg found by a dog, which is kind of what everybody describes her as. So Susan says that it was her best friend was Stacy. She said, quote, "She's not just a body part. She was a good person who went through hell and back in her life," which is, she said they grew up together. For months, she has been on the sheriff's department from the day Stacy went missing, saying, "Where's my friend? Where's my friend?" She herself, Blanchard here, she distributed flyers to local businesses to try to find her. Also, asking for donations to set up a fund for her son. Like, this friend is going around like, she's amazing. That's the kind of friend you want. If you're missing, she's going around trying to help your son and shit.
Right,
this is
he eats.
This is a great friend. But it's she's talking publicly, and most of the time nobody's really been talking publicly. She said that she's known her forever, since she was a young woman in elementary school. She said that she described Stacy as a woman who was desperate for love and always found herself in the company of troublemakers, drug addicts, ex-convicts, and abusers. That's what she said. Yeah. She said, quote, she trusted everyone, and that's probably what killed her. She said Stacy was naive and shy around those she didn't know, and volatile among those that she did know. Yeah. So she's an interesting combination. She said she had a knack for cheering people up when they most needed it. She had her son, obviously. She said she wasn't an adult herself yet, and was unable to care for her. She worked briefly at a hot dog stand in Mundelein, but she said she just never figured out what she wanted to do with herself, could never get a path going. And, 24, a lot of people don't have a path, and she never had a chance to find one. But she said she heard radio reports of a young woman dead in the Illinois Forest Preserve. Once she heard the legs belonged to a woman, she was sure that it was her friend, and she started calling people in Hoffman Estates, which was where she lived, to see if she's doing her own investigation once she hears that she's missing, because no one else cares. So later on, police end up tracing those calls while they're looking for suspects, and they think that's a suspect doing it.
Yeah.
So they go and arrest her.
Oh no!
They go and arrest her friend and place her in a detention center till they figure out what the fuck's going on. Where she figured out that Stacy had been placed there the day before she was missing. Stacy had been picked up for something the day before she went missing by the police as well. So she finds that out and pieces that together. So she was here this day, gone that day. She describes how they were Girl Scouts together when they were kids. They went to Bozo Circus together.
Yes.
They lived from time to time in some of the same group homes for troubled teens. Oh. They had, they hung out at the mall together and shit like that. Blanchard said, quote, we even dated some of the same guys. This woman was so intent on finding her friend. She took photos of Stacy to a psychic. I mean, she did everything. She was doing everything she could. She wanted the psychic to go with her to the field where the legs were found. She's like, come with me to the field. Maybe that'll help you.
It's like, I only go so far into the creepy shit.
That's the thing. But, the mother actually, Stacy's mother, who had went through the field herself recently, talked her out of it. She said, you don't want to do it. You just don't. She goes, you're going to hate it, and you're going to feel horrible about it.
All you're thinking about is somebody came here and got rid of pieces of my friend.
Yeah.
Am I standing in the exact same area that fucking sick bastard was at?
That's what I mean. Who knows? And she said, you don't want to be there. And so she talks her out of going there with the psychic. Blanchard said she and Frobel became blood sisters when they were 11. Poke your finger and do all of that. After entering Eisenhower Junior High in Hoffman Estates, they pressed their fingers together, did all that. Yeah. They hung out and, did all that normal shit. I guess it was a graveyard outside of, next to Stacy's house.
Yeah.
So they would hang out and sit out the window and look at the graveyard. That's like what kids do.
Yeah.
You go in there and smoke and shit.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go smoke by the fucking. You'd pick a gravestone you like the best to hang out by.
Yeah.
Let's go smoke near fucking Freddie so and so over there. Died in 1954. Let's check him out.
Those ones I can deal with. When it's an old one and the dates, the people lived a long time or some shit. I can see those. When you see the baby section, that's the creepy shit, and I want the fuck out of that graveyard.
Those are creepy.
When it's the same day.
Yeah. Well, cemeteries that are big cemeteries are fine, but the ones that are weird are the ones back east that are the size of a lot in a neighborhood, the size of a house lot.
Never
it's
seen
house. Cemetery.
No.
House. Oh, it's all over. On my dad's street, when I was in high school, there was 2 of them right in that town.
No.
And then in Wappingers there's a ton. Yeah, it's basically, it's in a neighborhood. Instead of a house, it's a fucking graveyard. Jesus. And it's their little, the size of a house lot. Yeah. And all the stones are from the fucking 1800s and 1700s and shit. You can you have to scrape the dirt out to see the fucking date. Some of them you can't see at all. They're some of them are bent forward and back. Wow. They're not cared for well. The grass is overgrown sometimes. That's fucking frightening to walk by at night. That's fucking terrifying. Like, something's off. You look at it, it looks like a horror movie graveyard. The stones aren't right. It's not like a nice, clean, mowed graveyard.
Is it just like where a house burned down and they're like, fuck it, put a graveyard in there?
No, it's just back in the 1700s, there wasn't a neighborhood there. Okay. There wasn't all houses there. So they put they made a little cemetery and a lot somebody owned, and then they built houses next to it.
Oh, God, Jesus.
Just that's what they did. It happens all the time.
Does that drive the property value down?
I don't know.
It's got to,
idea.
Right?
But I remember the one that was one on each side of the street across from each other in Fishkill, where my dad lived in New York, Osborne Hill Road. There's one, there's an old one, and then I think the other one was a little Jewish cemetery across from it, right next to this house where these girls we went to high school went, and we went swimming there. Across the street, graveyard. Next door, graveyard.
In the pool.
And then another fucking house.
James in the pool.
Yeah, that's right. So, and me in a pool.
That's weird.
So, they would do all of that. Frobel dropped out of Hoffman Estates High School after her freshman year. And her friend Blanchard here followed up soon after that. At 15, Stacy became upset one day and told her friend Blanchard that she wanted to run away to St. Louis. So Blanchard said she'd go with her. And so she said, quote, we wanted to go see the Arch. So they drove down in a stolen car.
What?
Wow. Saw the Arch, then got into a fight over a guy they met at a carnival. And Stacy stormed off and disappeared for 3 days.
Yeah, because that was my carnival.
That was my, so.
Awful.
That's terrible, man. So Stacy, but I mean, she was 15. Yeah. The girls were 15.
They stole a car.
That's
hot as fuck.
I was going to say, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty rad.
Cool. I don't want my 15, I wouldn't want my daughter doing it. But you know what? When I was 15, that's the thing. Like, when I was 15, I would have probably liked her. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to lie.
85.
Yeah.
She was 15 and 85. That's cool as shit.
Yeah, that's cool as fucking 85.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, we're not trying to judge her at a teen or any other time in her life. We're just saying that's, she's obviously something has gone awry in her life. This is not what you want your kids doing here. But yeah, they said Frobel gave custody of her son, gave custody of her son to her mother. She said that her friend said, quote, this child, Daniel, he's going to grow up knowing his whole life that his mother got murdered and that his father committed suicide, which we'll talk about. What kind of life is that? Why? Because Stacy had just gotten remarried 10 months before she was killed to Jeff. Her original husband, as we'll talk about, was named Michael McDonald. Yes. Old Michael McDonald.
Because in my head, I'm going McDonald Frobel, and then you said Michael, and I lost my mind.
Yeah, it's
all right.
So
Yama V and all that.
Pretty
awesome.
So
pretty cool.
It's good stuff. So
she thought it was him. Go on.
She did.
Yeah.
She was like, really?
Really?
So
you're rich.
You're rich. Yeah, really. Oh, you'll get me out of here. So Blanchard said that she often noticed bruises up and down Stacy's arms. She knew that her friend got involved with abusive men. Her first husband, Michael McDonald, let's find out what happened to him. Well, he got arrested for drunkenly beating Stacy while she was 8 months pregnant.
Oh.
He was punching her in the stomach and in the head at 8 months pregnant, drunkenly.
Doesn't sound like the Michael McDonald I know.
Me neither. And the comedian either.
Right. That guy's great.
I opened for him when I was, 2 years in. Yeah. The nicest man I've ever opened for.
Look what I can do.
So sweet.
Yeah.
A sweet man. Like, genuinely a sweet man. Like,
you're like,
character. What a nice man.
Yeah.
I remember Sarah met him. She goes, just a nice man he is. Like, he's just so nice. This is not him.
No.
So he did that, beat her fucking horribly, and so was arrested and taken to jail for it, luckily. What the problem is, took him into a holding cell. This is while she's 8 months pregnant, like we said. Within 15 minutes after he was dropped off in the holding cell, he hanged himself with his flannel shirt.
Right there. He knew he was in a lot of trouble.
I guess so, and he was
too much
drunk
trouble
too.
He was willing to deal with.
Yeah, it was something. He was 21 years old
with a flannel
shirt at 21 years old.
But you know what? If you punch a girl, I hope that's what you do to yourself.
Especially a pregnant one.
Yeah, I hope
She's 8 months pregnant.
Right.
What is he going to go? She hit me first?
Right.
Like, she's 8 months pregnant. Don't touch her.
Anyway,
you fucking crazy.
It's a girl that's pregnant. I hope you have the balls to do it to yourself.
That's what I mean. So he did. So good for him.
Congrats, Mike.
Yeah, good job. So Blanchard said the reason we were so close is because I hurt for her and she hurt for me. So they were both had hard lives, and they were kind of each other's support system. Police found out that Frobel spent a lot of time hanging out in bars, and when they circulated Stacy's photo around the bars for clues, everybody knew her. Right. Everyone's like, oh yeah, Stacy. Every single bar around, they all knew Stacy, exactly who she was, her whole deal. She said that she and Frobel did not use drugs together at all. We don't know how true that is or whatever, but it doesn't really matter. Blanchard says about Stacy, quote, she didn't have a drug problem, she had a love problem. She liked guys that were bad for her, which is, fucking can be bad.
It's also the majority of people.
Yeah, that's everybody. A lot of people do.
It.
I said I would have been turned on by the fucking
the
bad girl stealing a car driving to St. Louis.
Girl, I will kiss anywhere you want.
Sweet. So she take me with you. She had, can I go?
I want to
go. This Blanchard had a grocery bag filled with newspaper clippings written about Stacy over the past few months, and she's just obsessed with it. I mean, I felt terrible for this woman. She said, I just want people to know that she was a beautiful girl. She wasn't perfect, but nobody deserves to be cut up. No shit. Yeah. Not having your life together at 24 years old is no reason to be murdered, because there'd be a lot of dead fucking people out there, boy, including myself.
We need a lot more graveyards.
Fuck, man. All in every neighborhood. Be packed with them. So, neighbors say about the Frobels that they often fought. Stacy would sometimes leave the house, and they said it's not unusual to hear them yelling and screaming. One neighbor said, quote, they were always fighting, and sometimes she'd grab her purse and her boy and just leave for a while, said a 19-year-old woman named Jennifer Kaiser, who lived in the apartment next door. She said, quote, she looked like she was mad most of the time, like she wasn't a happy person. Sounds like she wasn't a happy person. September of 1994, she was charged with drunken disorderly conduct Stacy for yelling yelling at someone in a parking lot after police had told her to shut the fuck up or whatever. So she was fined $75. It was no big deal. It just means that she was just she's just not in situations that are the most conducive to long, healthy lives, basically. So her mother said, quote, at first I thought she left her husband, because that would have been not outside of the realm of possibility for her. But she started to suspect that her daughter ran into some trouble when she never called her son. She's like, she's gone a week and there's no call to Daniel, and she would have called her son no matter what situation she was in. She would have said hello to her son and whatever, made him feel loved. So she waits. She said that she's trying to explain to young Daniel this whole thing. The mother says, quote, he's very confused. He wants to know where his mommy is. Well, yeah, clearly.
We'd like to know where the rest of her is too, Daniel.
Yep. So back to the investigation. March 7th, police retrace her last steps using directions given to Frobel to get to her friend's Streamwood apartment. They found the directions. They questioned the owners and patrons of local businesses and bars, like we talked about. Everybody knew her. Her husband and boyfriend both passed lie detector tests, 3 of them. April 7th, a special FBI surveillance plane flies in from Virginia to take aerial photographs to invade investigators in their search for the rest of the body parts. They start zeroing in on a suspect, though, at this point. They have somebody. It's a man who knew Frobel. And also, this is when they started going into everyone's prison records. They found somebody did time for rape and kidnapping when they were a teenager in the late 80s. Because he's the same age, the suspect's the same age as Stacy. So they were like, let's take a look at him. So April 21st, a foot is found. Another foot is found in a field in Kenosha by somebody just taking a stroll. They found a foot there. And then finally, June 1st, May 31st and June 1st is when sheriffs from the Lake County fly to FBI headquarters in Quantico, Virginia to develop a psychological profile and see if that fits the person they're looking at here. So your suspects are obviously the husband, who has been cleared. Obviously, she's got bruises sometimes. They scream. He leaves. He's an assistant auto parts store manager. And once he passes everything, they let him go. The boyfriend was a big one here. They never release his name. The boyfriend was the main suspect for a while here. He worked maintenance at a meatpacking plant, which sounds exactly murdery.
That's our scary guy.
Yeah, and initially was suspected, but he passed several lie detector tests, had a credible alibi. Frobel tried to call him shortly before midnight on January 3rd from her girlfriend's apartment, but his mother told her he was asleep and she wouldn't wake him him up. So if she did wake him up, this whole thing might have turned different. So, so they've been taken, like I said, they're off the deal here. Now, here's another person, a woman named Shari Runge. They look at her. Shari is Stacy's girlfriend, and that's where she was last seen that's the apartment she was last seen leaving on early morning, 12:45 a.m., January 4th, 1995. Frobel went to the apartment for a small gathering on the 3rd, and this woman, Shari, told police that Frobel called her husband and her boyfriend before leaving alone in her car at 12:45 a.m. So that's the last person to see her. And she also said 2 other people at the gathering were her roommate and her fiance. They had gone to bed earlier in the evening before she had left. That's her story.
Just the 4 of them.
It was just the 4 of them. 2 of them went to bed. The girl stayed up and talked, and then she left at 12:45.
Phone calls, she's out the door.
Yep. And then their top suspect is someone they refuse to identify at this point to not spook him, obviously. They call him a man in his mid-20s who lives with his wife and children in western suburbs of Chicago. They started focusing their attention on him, the FBI did, as one of the last people to be seen with Frobel before her disappearance. That's when they figured out that he was a rapist and a kidnapper as well. So we'll talk about what he did. He did 5.5 years in prison for that, and we'll get into the details of his confession on that. The emergency room records from that attack showed that he covered the girl's body with so many human bite marks they were too numerous to count.
What?
At 17 years old, he did
Just biting the shit out of her.
At 17.
Wow.
That's advanced.
That's angry.
That's advanced, though. That's like, that's way later. Like, wow. Normally, this is fucking crazy. And it was a girl he knew, he went to school with. This wasn't a stranger. We'll talk about how he lured her in. The whole thing is crazy.
5 years for that?
He did 5.5 years because he was 17.
I don't give a shit.
I don't either. That's wait till you hear the details.
Boy.
January 1996, they, like I said, they're looking at one particular young man here, and they want to talk to him. Lake County Sheriff's Department is working with the FBI now. They're talking about this man. They won't release his name, obviously. They said, quote, "We focused on this individual suspect for some time. We've talked with him. I'm sure he's aware of the fact that we're looking at him." And they said once they found his criminal record, the FBI agent said, quote, "The lights went on and the bells rang. Now we're looking for that one break in the case that will tie everything together that we have so far." He says, quote, "If this guy thinks this case is concluded, it's a far cry from that. We have physical evidence that's been gathered by a multitude of agencies, and only recently was it all consolidated into one place so it can be compared. Those tests are being done now." So basically, your days are numbered is what the FBI is telling this guy. Who the fuck is this guy?
I'd love to know.
It's Paul Frederick Runge. It's Shari's husband at the time, fiance, later husband.
The guy that was in bed.
He was in bed.
Right.
He's a truck driver and a former Foot Locker employee. Former, yeah. We'll find out why he quit there. He's born in Oak Forest and has what, as they put it, has quote suffered, which I don't know if it's suffering more like outwardly to other people suffer from sexual sadism since the time of his childhood.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, not just some freaky shit. He's not just like, yeah, man, want you to tie me up and like no.
It's power.
It's I want to put so many bite marks on somebody that they can't count them.
I can't count unless it's obvious I'm in charge.
Yeah, it's one of those weird. It's not about you feeling bad. It's not about me feeling good. It's about you feeling bad. It's that thing. It's exactly what it is.
Gross.
That's his fucking sickness.
Former Foot Locker employee. They rape you and rape you again.
And those Jordans are expensive. So apparently his mother died when he was 17, and then right after it is when this all happened. So I don't know if that's obviously when you talk about serial killers, psychological things, there's the triggers, something that sets them off. There's the cool down periods and all that sort of thing. This might have been his first trigger.
His event.
Or the first we know about. We don't know what he's been doing before that, but it's at least his first trigger is his mother dying. And in 1987, this is when this happened, he lured a 14-year-old girl to his home while his father and brother were out of town and sexually assaulted her, restrained her with handcuffs, used duct tape to cover her eyes and mouth, used a knife, and basically raped her every way possible with objects. It's fucking horrific.
5 years.
5.5 years.
Oh, boy.
Went to school. She was 3 years younger than him. They went to school together. That's how he knew her.
She's 14.
Yep, he asked her to meet him to help a girl they both knew get marijuana out of her house. He said, hey, we're going to get weed from this girl and hide it for her because her parents are looking or whatever. So he drove her to his house and motioned her into a room and said, oh, this is where it is. And then he hit her over the head.
Jesus.
And she fell down. And then he jumped on her, ripped off all her clothes and pinned her down. And he put a knife to her throat and said, well, he said, you'll know what I'm talking about. He said, quote, don't bite her, I'll kill you.
Ew.
So that's what we're talking about here. Handcuffed her, like we said, blindfolded her, repeatedly did everything he could horrible to her as far as sexually goes. Bit her everywhere, as we heard about. He cut her pubic hair with a knife, which is weird. I don't know what he was fucking doing there.
Is this one of the graphic parts?
This is, well, I'm not going to get into the graphic parts of this. We'll save that. But it's a lot of biting, and it's a lot of gross. It's graphic, but it's not as graphic as some stuff here. So yeah, all right. Well, we'll tell you this here. So this will be graphic for a minute, not the beginning part.
She's 14 and she had that. How do you really?
What?
Enough to cut it?
Yeah.
Jesus.
What?
That's horrific.
You got late puberty, Jimmy? Late onset?
Yes.
You still waiting?
I don't know if
your back's covered in hair. You could cut that with a knife.
I don't know if I had enough to cut with a hair at 14 or with a knife at 14.
I don't know.
That's a lot.
So then he handcuffed her to a railing in the living room and offered to take her home if she would drink a glass of Seagram's, like booze.
Yeah.
Okay? So she finished the glass, and then he took her to the bathroom, and she threw up because she's 14. Right. So then he raped her more, obviously. So then he cuffed her to a bed with this is hours, Jimmy.
Oh my God.
Hours. This was from the night to the next day.
No.
The next day, he's still doing this. More sexual horrificness that I'm not going to give details of. Then he handcuffed her to a chair and gave her cereal. He's a sick fuck.
Did they say what kind?
No, I did not hear what kind, unfortunately. I was curious
I was trying to help you out.
No. So she picked up this chair and tried to escape. And so he held a knife to her throat and threatened her.
Picked up the whole thing.
She just ran away with the chair.
Brilliant.
It's a kitchen chair. I'm dragging this bitch behind me. Yeah, fucking get out of here, man. So he Jesus Christ. So then he cuffed her to the kitchen table, cut her hair with a knife,
oh God,
which is horrible, and then began cutting the inside of her arms. And he smiled at her and told her that he liked it.
Wow.
Yeah. And then he was biting her more, and he told her, shut up, that doesn't hurt. He's a sick fuck, man. There was bites all over her neck, breast, stomach, crotch, legs. It's fucking insane, man. Then there's more. He handcuffed her, raped her more, recuffed her, different places, put her in the sofa. I mean, it's insane, man. She said that he would alternate between his penis and objects of what he felt. He's a horrible person, basically. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
He went way too far at 17.
Oh, there's more. I could give you. Wow. It's fucking disgusting what he did. It's really bad. He ended up basically. She said that I thought I was going to die because it hurt so bad, and he finally stopped when the phone rang. Mm-hmm. That's what made him stop. He gagged her, bound her ankles, and put her inside a sleeping bag. And then put her inside of a crawl space. He told her not to do anything stupid or he would kill her, and then he left.
Yeah.
So with her hands still cuffed and her legs bound, she rolled and hopped until she got outside.
Hell yeah.
And a neighbor who lived across the street saw her with her hands and feet tied, crying, shaking hysterically, with fucking gagged with scarves around her mouth.
Right.
So they obviously called the police. And the police later determined that the father and brother had gone on a trip for the weekend, and he's convicted of aggravated criminal sexual assault, aggravated kidnapping, armed violence, and was sentenced to 14 years in prison, but was released in 5.5.
Wow.
He gets out in 1994.
He answered a phone call to go camping, and he's like, yeah, let me clean up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
On my way.
That's what he's doing, man.
Wow.
Yep.
And then just left her there and disappeared for 2 days?
Left her there. And he didn't disappear. He just went to go do something, and as soon as he left, she got outside.
Oh, thank God.
They determined that his father and brother were gone. That's why he was alone in the house. So that was what he did when he was 17.
That's
and
too much.
as we know, people get more mature and more sophisticated and grosser as they get over. What does he claim happened there? He claims it was all consensual.
Uh-oh.
That's what he claimed at first. He says he didn't threaten, intimidate, or use violence, which... Sorry, yeah, you did.
She's 14.
She's 14, and she was
There's no way she
mutilated.
just likes it rough, man.
Nobody likes it that rough.
Wow.
And 14, you shouldn't like anything of any kind anyway. Other than the cereal should have been the only thing in that entire description that she enjoyed.
Shouldn't have a clue what you like.
Yeah, you shouldn't even know. So, oh my God. So obviously psychologists saw elements of planning and forethought and indicated that he had a capacity for control, of trying to control people. There was an opportunistic quality to the way he carried everything out. Police ran when he ran away when the cops came to pick him up because he knew what he did. He knew what he did, and then when they took him, in, and he ended up saying he didn't do it, and he ended up admitting it finally here. They ended up finding him on examination, found him able to conform his conduct to the requirements of the law and sane. However, they did suggest that he had a severe disorder, and the more difficult it might be for a sexual sadist to resist his urges and all this sort of shit. So he described his upbringing as essentially normal. His dad lived there. I mean, that's Christ, he had a complete family. His mom died when he was 17, but before that, he had a complete family.
Okay.
He admitted to a fairly early interest in various types of pornography. And, I mean, Jesus Christ.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he described his plan while incarcerated to collect virtually every type of pornographic magazine and rent them out to the other inmates as a hustle.
Ugh.
That was his idea when he gets in there. He's going to be, instead of the guy with the cigarettes, or the guy with the... I don't know how you keister porn. That's going to be the problem.
A lot of paper cuts.
Yeah, other things get in there. That's a good one. Be tough. So that he had a plan, though. He was like telling the psychiatrist, I'm going to get into prison and get a hustle going. Like, you're 17. What is your fucking problem? So they said that he had a propensity to brag and a capacity to be shrewd, calculating, and manipulative. They said, he also, while he was in prison for that, chose not to participate in sex offender counseling as well.
No counseling.
No, he likes it.
Yeah.
So, what else has been going on? Because now some time goes by. Like I said, months have gone by. We're into 1996 now, while they're still figuring this out. Well, some time passed, but on July 11th, 1995, a pair of sisters disappear.
Oh, no.
They are the Begovic sisters. They're Bosnian immigrants, and they're here. And the FBI are going to look into Runge for that as well, because he and his wife had allegedly offered the women house cleaning jobs through a mutual acquaintance.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, his wife.
Yeah.
And his wife knows a lot of shit.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. On the day the sisters disappeared, the FBI said, quote, I believe that they left in the company of Charlene Runge to go to her residence for the purported purpose of taking a job cleaning houses. So, yeah, they're looking at this couple. So March 8th, 1996, a year later goes by. The FBI finally searches his home. Okay. They find kind of nothing, really. They seize a knife, but it's not a knife. It's not a business knife.
Okay.
It's, we'll talk about it here. They said that it's more than 200 items seized from the home of his wife and father, and he obviously. They took a book about a serial killer who dismembered women. He had that in his possession. A guide to police radio traffic, a crossbow, and a stun gun. But the crossbow is fine, and the stun gun was a battery-operated one that they said couldn't even incapacitate a person. It was more like, it would be like putting a 9-volt up to somebody and being like, there you go, you got both sides of it. Is it still good? So, So what they said is the knife was like a decorative knife is what they called it. It was the knife had a 5-inch curved steel blade with 10 pointed metal studs protruding from the knuckles on the handle.
Okay.
It was like a brass knuckle knife thing. Basically, they said, and then they found like a toy pistol, and the agent said, quote, I think the toy pistol speaks for itself. The stun gun was battery-powered miniature. It would not incapacitate everyone. And the knife, Ross, I guess he said that the agent here, Ross, went to a knife dealer to find out what kind of deal it was, and the guy said that it was only a collector's item. It's nothing that people would use. And so, so the FBI agents thought, quote, nobody thought these items were anything important. And Quote, was that inappropriate? Did we make a mistake? I guess in hindsight, yes. Why? Because he's still on fucking parole.
What?
Any of those things.
He can't have those.
He can't have any of those things,
No.
especially that knife is a parole violation.
Huge violation.
Period.
Yeah.
So that's March 8th, 1996. He could be put back in jail right now on a parole violation.
For what, 9 more years?
Till 1999.
Right.
That would be. And that is... 8 months after those sisters disappeared. So, and then we'll talk about other shit that happens here. So right now he should be in jail, and he's not. So anything that happens from here on out is on the fucking FBI,
shit, yeah.
in my opinion. Anyway, I mean, what the fuck?
It's certainly on somebody, and it's
yeah. So
I mean, it's his responsibility too.
They search his home. They do all of this shit. Like I said, they took 200 items, all this stuff, the serial killer book. But the FBI agent said, "quote We never felt any of these items, including the knife, in and of itself, would be a parole offense. Nor were we looking to violate his parole. We were looking for evidence linking him to the disappearances and or the murder of Frobel. So if you think he's a murderer, try to get him in a box for a minute and then figure it out. If you think that he's killing women in a horrible, brutal way and dismembering them.
Right.
This isn't like, I don't know, he might have poisoned his wife. He's a dangerous person, clearly. So what the fuck is the FBI doing here?
I hope bathing his place in luminol.
Well, the FBI also, at this point, started studying bite marks on the dismembered leg they found of Stacy, because it's got bite marks, and that's kind of his jam.
Yeah.
They followed Paul and his wife Charlene around. They traced calls from payphones that they used. They tapped their phones, sifted through their garbage. Jesus. I mean, this was a full-blown, like, John Gotti-style fucking sting operation here. So they looked through all of this. By May 1997, he's still not in custody. Still out going around. So think about that. They want to lock him up, but they don't know how. So it's at this point when the FBI finally notifies state officials about their findings from the house, what they found on the search months ago. And once state officials see a knife on that list, they go, that's a fucking parole violation. Lock him the fuck up. So June 97, he is jailed for a parole violation. So he's in jail.
Yeah.
It's at this point that his wife, Charlene, decides to cooperate with police. She's got a lot to cooperate for because they give her immunity. What? It is fucking disgusting. This woman, we'll talk about it.
Is that how fucking at a standstill they were? They needed help?
Yeah, well, it's insane. They start assisting her husband here, or assisting law enforcement. 1999, his sentence expires. They're still trying to put cases together against him here. 1999, his sentence expires, so the authorities go to the court to keep him in prison under the Sexually Violent Persons Act. Psychologists testified that he was a sexual sadist and that he had no remorse for the kidnapping, repeated rape, and torture of a 14-year-old girl, which will get you, people look at that badly.
Yeah.
So he's still being held, and they're trying to link evidence to him at this point.
Foot Locker should have seen that shit.
That's what I'm saying. So 2000, he's in jail, okay? He's in jail. He's being transported. He and 2 other inmates, they're being taken to a Cook County court hearing. They overpower a corrections officer during a routine stop at a red light.
What?
And they take off 3 prisoners. So he sprung from the prison van. Luckily, there was local police literally sitting in the parking lot right by the light that watched them do it and run away in handcuffs. So they just got right behind him, picked him right back up again, and brought him back. So that didn't last long. They literally didn't even get to smell McDonald's. They got out and they're like, we're free. Shit. God damn it. Fuck, no, we're not.
Run.
Bad timing.
Stop. God damn it.
Here's the deal. Don't try to overpower the corrections officers in front of a cop car, probably. Not smart for your own purposes. And it's at this point that they find out that DNA evidence has linked him to 2 murders in Chicago as well. And that's not it, too.
No?
There's more. Forensic evidence here gleaned from DNA find out that he is also responsible for the murders of Yolanda Gutierrez and her 10-year-old daughter, Jessica Muñez. They were... once they confront him with this, he fucking spills it.
Really?
They go, we got DNA on these, and he goes, all right, what do you want to know? Literally sits back and goes, What you want to know?
Yeah.
I'll tell you everything. And he fucking does.
So he knows what DNA means.
He knows what DNA means. Yeah, he's a pretty smart guy, actually, Paul. Yeah, he's not stupid. Well, how did they find the Yolanda and her daughter? On the morning of February 3rd, 1997. Okay. February 3rd, 1997, which is after March of 96 when they found the knife. So this is an FBI. This is on their head right here. This is 100% on their fucking head.
And this guy,
he should be in jail right now, and he's not.
He had to be feeling invincible.
Absolutely. He's getting more brazen. Wait till you hear what the fuck he did here. Basically, February 3rd, 97, a neighbor discovered flames coming from their apartment. This is in the city of Chicago, occupied by Yolanda Gutierrez and her 10-year-old daughter, Jessica. When the firefighters arrived, they found their bodies on a burned bed. The cause and origin, the investigator with the Chicago Fire Department noted pour patterns indicating the use of accelerant on the rug around the bed. It's just did a bed thing. He also observed what appeared to be a restraint on Jessica's wrist. And he said the fire resulted from a deliberate act, obviously. Dr. Scott Denton performed autopsies on these two, a young lady and her mom here. Yolanda's body was clad in burned and fragmented clothing, and she had a gaping, sharp force wound to the neck that cut her carotid artery and jugular vein.
He slit her throat.
The wound went deep through the front muscles of the neck, through the large side muscle of the neck, and involved the back of the throat. All the way. About half her body had extensive burning and charring. Also, she had been sexually assaulted, like horribly, not just with a person, with objects here. So they find out that she died from the neck wound, obviously. Jessica, the 10-year-old, also wore fragmented burned clothing. She also had a sharp force wound across her neck and was nearly decapitated. About 75% of her body was burned. And in addition, they noticed stab wounds 2 inch by 1 inch on her shoulder there. And also, they found vaginal tearing and all that sort of thing. He sexually assaulted.
Baby.
He's 10-year-old. Yeah, it's just a baby. Yeah, in every way possible. By the way, obviously. It's absolutely fucking disgusting here. Found, it's bad stuff. Had her throat slashed. It's fucking horrible. So they received everything and got the DNA test going, and they matched the DNA test right to him. They said once they told him that his DNA profile will be expected to occur in 1 in 32 trillion Caucasians.
Very specific.
He said, all right, what do you want to know? Yeah. He's like, well, there's no way out of this one. So his confession is as follows. In a statement, he says that his wife, Charlene, was a friend of Stacy Frobel and suggested a threesome with Stacy. His wife did, which happened a lot, apparently, because there's another thing where it's all sexual. In January of 1995, Stacy came over to their house, to Runge's house, and got drunk. That's the night we're talking about in question. According to Paul, Charlene became mad at Stacy and told him to kill her. His stories often involve Stacy wanting to have some sexual activity with other women and then getting jealous and not wanting them there. Okay. That's what his story is a lot of the time here. We don't know.
Stacy wanted a threesome but couldn't handle that my wife was there.
No. Charlene got mad at Stacy.
Okay.
Yeah, not Stacy got mad.
Okay, so Charlene
Stacy's
gets jealous.
Guest. Yes, Charlene wants it, and then once they're there, she's jealous and gets angry. And this is his story later on, too.
Got it.
So basically, while Stacy fell asleep, and while she slept, he took a barbell in and hit her on the head with it as hard as he could while she slept and killed her. Okay. Then he put her body on a plastic sheet and had sex with her. Yes.
Well, she's already dead.
Oh, she's dead.
Yeah,
definitely. Also handcuffed her.
Yeah.
He handcuffed a dead woman to have sex with her.
Of course.
I don't even know what the fuck to... Yeah. I can't... my brain doesn't work like that. That's all. I don't know.
But they already had a threesome?
No, that never happened. When it brought up that his wife got jealous and all that sort of thing. So he did this, killed her, with the barbell, plastic sheet, had sex with her, handcuffed. Then he had sex with Charlene as well. Yeah. Charlene was like, "Oh, I need some too. I don't know what."
Chop liver?
Jesus Christ. So then he looked over at Stacy, and she was dead.
Yeah.
So what he did was the next day, he took her into the bathtub and dismembered her using a power saw.
Wow.
Using a saw, he cut her hands, ankles, arms, legs, torso, and head, placed the body parts in plastic bags. Thereafter, he and Charlene borrowed a car and drove toward Wisconsin, scattering body parts as they went. Come on, honey. Let's go for a fucking Sunday drive.
Unbelievable.
Let's go for a day. We'll put a leg here and a fucking... I'm disgusted by this asshole.
It sounds like Charlene maybe is brainwashed and like maybe he's like rough in bed and she's just like, maybe do it to her instead of me.
I don't know. Either that or she's as sick as he is.
I'm
and
trying
is
to
into
give her
this.
the benefit of the doubt that there's not two fucking
I don't know
monsters.
I don't know why we're giving her the benefit of the doubt.
I don't know.
After that,
I'm trying so hard.
There is no benefit of any doubt. If your husband's killing and raping a corpse, killing a woman and then raping her body, and you don't leave and go fucking that's on you at that point. It's all on you then. I mean, I get that maybe she came from an abusive background and this is whatever psychologically, but you know what?
How do you get
this? Is too far.
I'm trying so hard to understand.
That's what I'm saying, man. So corroboration was supplied by physical evidence, witness statements, recovered bones showed the evidence of cutting. Her skull showed evidence of injury consistent with having been struck by a barbell. Everything. A sample of the carpet was taken from the bedroom in the townhouse where they lived and contained traces of Stacy's blood, which they should have fucking done to begin with, but they didn't. Another one here, Dina Bartoloni, who lived in the townhouse with them, that was their roommate, Paul and Charlene's roommate, said that on January 3rd, Charlene indicated she was looking forward to Stacy coming over for a visit. When Stacy came over, they drank, and eventually Charlene told Dina that Stacy would be staying the night. The next day, Paul and Charlene borrowed Dina's car and used more than a half a tank of gas.
Well, that's a lot of driving.
It's a lot of driving. And Dina said that she had sex 4 or 5 times with Paul as well, including having threesomes with Charlene, and including the day that Charlene went to the hospital to give birth. She had sex with Paul.
Wow.
Or a threesome. I would assume that it was not the threesome on the day she was giving birth.
These have to be the hottest people on earth.
No. So, the Yolanda and his daughter, and her daughter, Munoz, Yolanda Gutierrez. How did that happen? How did he find them? Well, he contacted Yolanda about a Hooked on Phonics program she was advertising for sale.
Oh, no.
She's trying to help people read.
Oh, my God.
Trying to help people read. And that's what happens.
Oh, boy.
He went to her apartment and discussed the program with her, and then said he would like to discuss it with his wife and left. What is there more to discuss? Do you want to know how to read or not? What the fuck you do? I don't know. Let me talk it over with my wife.
1995 is kind of steep for me.
Can't fucking read. This will help you read. Let me think about it. All right. Fucking moron. So he said that he and his wife Charlene went to Yolanda's apartment to view the program. According to him, Charlene argued with Yolanda and grabbed her. Paul then claims that Yolanda grabbed a knife and told Charlene to leave. He said he grabbed the knife from Yolanda and pushed her to the floor. He then said he asked Charlene for something to tie Yolanda up. And Charlene brought him duct tape, which he used to tie Yolanda's hands and Jessica's hands,
she was
the 10-year-old. Well, we'll talk about it. He then put Yolanda and Jessica on the bed. He said that he attempted to calm Charlene, then had sex with her on the bed between the mother and daughter. To calm her down, I guess. Then he said he had sex with Yolanda every possible way as well. Thereafter, he then also raped the daughter as well, every fucking way possible. He then said that he pulled their pants up afterwards and proceeded to cut Yolanda's throat with a knife and then cut Jessica's as well. He said at that point, Charlene came to him with a can of turpentine, and that's what it was. He said that, quote, Sherry, that's Charlene, started giving me a hard time. She's really jealous. She doesn't trust anybody. So,
if you can't trust your murderous husband, who can you trust?
Yeah. So, I mean, who the fuck? That's what I'm saying. I mean, when you rape and murder together, you figure you got a bond. You know what I mean?
You should trust him explicitly.
Yeah. So he said that once they were dead, she said, quote, Sherry said we can't leave them like this. So she opened up a can of turpentine and poured it over them. And that's where the fire came from, obviously. Yeah. But the detective of the case said that Charlene actually denied being here for this one, so they don't think he's telling the truth. So former forensic biologist also analyzed all the evidence and testified that she found his semen to match the DNA. DNA samples were there, and now when they interviewed Charlene about this was not one of the things she said she was involved in. So then he gave a second statement where he admitted he was there alone. She wasn't there. He said he'd been there before. He came back on February 3rd, discussed Hooked on Phonics, and then on the later date, he entered the apartment intending to rape Yolanda. He had duct tape and a knife in his coat pocket to do that with.
Why implicate her in that?
Because he just wanted to make it less.
Does it sound...
He was just trying to put her into all of his things. She was there for some, as we'll talk about.
She's there for enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No shit.
Is he mad that she has immunity? He's got to be furious.
Oh, he's got to be pissed. Yeah, she did a lot here.
Yeah.
So this is a little graphic here. Once they're inside the door, he pulled out the knife, grabbed Yolanda around the front, set the knife to her throat like movie style. Yeah. He told Yolanda to be quiet and come to the bed and directed her daughter to do so as well. Once he had them both there, he taped their hands behind their backs and he raped them every way possible. And he said that, I don't recall ejaculating, but I must have, I guess, if you guys found semen.
Oh.
Yeah.
You don't recall?
You don't recall.
What's the point in doing this?
I can't even tell you this detail. I can't do it. I just can't.
Don't do it.
It's fucked up.
Don't do it.
I'm not gonna.
It's too far.
I'm skipping it.
It's enough.
I'm skipping this detail.
We know what
too
happened.
much. Yeah. Well, this is an extra sick thing. It's just.
Well, then you gotta say it.
It's extra sick. Okay. Fucking warning here, everybody. Don't listen to this if you are offended by anything, because this is horrific and it's making me physically ill. Yeah. So, after he raped the girl, right, the daughter, she was bleeding, so he put a tampon in her.
Oh my Christ!
You fucking piece of shit!
Like that.
I want to fucking punch this guy with my fists. I want to fucking make. Don't you just want to make ground beef out of his face? I just want to fucking maul him like an animal.
I don't get like his. Maybe I'm not sick. Ugh, yay!
So disgusting. Oh my God!
I can't get from A to B there.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand. I don't know why. For what? What is he doing?
A sick man.
He's got his own fucking things.
So glad
control.
I'm not sick.
I know, yeah. So, yeah, he said then he cut their throats, and he described the gurgling noises and everything else. He said that he cut Jessica's throat. He said there was blood sprayed all over him. And, yeah, he said that's when he poured the liquid all over him and threw a match on it. And he said that he did that to hide the fact that he slashed their throats, which, yeah, right. So, yeah, he took the duct tape, the knife, the can, and left the apartment, and said that at that point, that's the one you got, and I can help you solve some other ones that you have unsolved as well.
Oh, boy.
What you got? Well, I got this. January 2001. This is the sisters. Denzenita Pazin-Beganich. This is when they're bringing it up.
All right.
Pazin-Beganich, 22, and her sister Amila are both, I was 20 years old, are Bosnian immigrants here. He's charged there as well. 2 of those bodies have not been found there as well. And also, oh, by the way, they have more. Okay. He's charged with 7 killings in all. We'll get to these. Basically, 5 counts of first-degree murder in Cook County, sexual assault, armed robbery. Then he's in DuPage County. It's a fucking mess. Basically, he got the sisters over, lured them there with promise of work as house cleaners. Once inside, the 2 women, they came there with their uncle 6 months earlier. They were handcuffed, and eventually he dismembers them. And we'll talk about that as well. He says, quote, I want the families, this is in his confession, I want the families to know what happened to their loved ones. I want to do the right thing and help you guys. I need help. Something's wrong with me. I don't know why I did this stuff. That's exactly what Dahmer said. Yeah. When they said to Dahmer, like, what? He went, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why. I wish I knew. I mean, if you could tell me, I'd love to know.
Yeah.
And like the Iceman said to Park Dietz, he was so excited to find out what was wrong with him. Right. He said, what the fuck is wrong with me? Why do I do this shit?
Yeah. But
this is different.
The Iceman, he was doing that shit for money. You know
and he didn't care.
He had obvious reasons.
He was definitely not killing women and setting them on fire.
Dahmer
and
was shocked
throats.
by his own shit.
Yeah,
can you fucking believe I did that?
This guy's way more Dahmer than Kuklinski, but I just meant the whole wanting to know what's wrong with you thing, big time.
Eager.
Yeah. So, oh my God. So, yeah, these two, what he did was they were last seen on January 11th, 1995, the Bosnian sisters. They were offered a house cleaning job through a mutual acquaintance. Paul began working for a honey-baked ham store in the mall. People are buying honey-baked hams from this fucking guy at the mall.
I know you hate it. That shit is delicious.
Nasty, sweet and salty.
God, I love it.
So while Charlene was planning to start a cleaning business, is what he said. Mm-hmm. So he stated that Dazenetta tried to run out of the house, and so he grabbed her and slammed her head into a concrete slab. Carried her back inside and put her in a bathtub full of water and left the room. By the time he returned, she was drowned. Mm-hmm. He said that's how he killed her. He just dumped her unconscious body into water.
That'll do it.
So he handcuffed Amela, the sister, to a bench and sexually assaulted her and strangled her. Afterwards, he dismembered both of their bodies in the bathtub, put the pieces in plastic bags, and disposed of them in garbage bins spread around throughout the area. And, Charlene was the one who got them to the house. It was her that got them there. And, he called in sick the next day at the Honey Baked Ham store.
Exhausted.
You don't want to sell Honey Baked Hams when you've been butchering people. Right. It's just, not a good thing here.
Cut enough meat today.
Yeah. He also called in sick to work after Stacy.
Really?
After that. Well, they were busy spreading body parts throughout the Northland. Yeah. What do you want? So, this is, ridiculous. So they also find another woman here, Dorota Zubak, Dorota Zubak, DZIU. That's how that starts. So it's Zubak. I don't know how you would say that.
It's possible.
This is from January 1997. Again, after the fucking knife. She was raped and strangled as well. Came across her responding to an ad for her selling a house, and her burned body was found on that as well. His videotape statement regarding this murder, he said that he related this to his 7-Up route that took him along because he was driving a truck for 7-Up. So this is just along the route for the 7-Up truck, basically. It took him along this street in Chicago. So on the morning of January 10th, 1997, he was just in the 7-Up truck looking, on the street, and he saw a for sale by owner sign in front of a house. Yeah. He's like, I can rape and kill somebody. So he just stopped and went and knocked at the door. No planning. Went and knocked on the door. A woman answered, who he said he thought was attractive. Yeah. So he said he was interested in looking at the house, so she let him in to look at the house. People will do anything when they're trying to sell their fucking house.
7-Up truck out front?
Yeah, it seems reasonable. He's in uniform. I'd love to look at your truck. Oh, sure, he's got 7-Up. How bad could he be, right?
That's the most least conspicuous vehicle ever.
It's the Uncola. I mean, obviously he's not going to murder me, right? He's the unmurder. This isn't going to happen.
Khalil, man.
So he's inside. He asked to see the furnace, which she indicated would cut out sporadically. Mm-hmm. So he pretended to know what was wrong with it. And he said, well, I could take a look at it. Maybe I could just adjust it for you. And, either whether I buy it or not, it's going to help you. Right. So when she came over to look at it, when he said, see this thing right here, come here, he grabbed her by the back of the neck and pushed her to the floor. He told her to be quiet if she wanted to ever see her daughter again. He walked her into the bedroom and made him perform oral sex on him. This will be rough right here, so just heads up, ding, ding. He then told her to lie down and had vaginal sex with her. Mm-hmm. Afterwards, he took her into the bathroom and directed her to wash her vaginal area as he was concerned about the presence of semen. He must have seen a fucking Law and Order or a CSI or something in the meantime. Was like, When she came out of the bathroom, he tied her hands behind her back, laid her face down on a pillow on the bed, and was like leaning on the high part of her back and neck. And when she got off of her, when he got off of her, she wasn't moving or breathing. Yeah. Knee in the neck, as we know, will make you stop breathing.
That'll do it.
So he grabbed a match and threw it in the closet in an area with paper and clothing and then left while it burned.
Wow.
That's what he did. Physical evidence corroborated everything here. Heating and air conditioning technician reported a fire around 12:30. Firefighter entered the house, saw fire coming from a bedroom closet, took Dorothy from the bed and turned her over to the firefighters. And the fire was deliberately set, they said. It was with a match and a piece of clothing in the closet. Couldn't have been more obvious. Like, it wasn't really...
Nobody saw a 7-Up truck leaving the house.
Right, it's a fucking 7-Up truck. Wow. That's one of those things, though, that it's like seeing a FedEx truck. You wouldn't even, your brain doesn't even, your brain doesn't even fucking register. And if it does, you're like, well, not the 7, that goes, you're looking for odd things. Yeah. Things like that are not odd.
I suppose.
A soda truck isn't odd. You see those every day.
I don't know, but
I would think, but people...
Call it the news, call it the whatever coverage. Every time I see a UPS man or a FedEx man, I think about things.
Yeah, but you wouldn't in 1997.
What'd you do, psychopath?
Yeah, not in 1997, though. No. And that's another difference is now we're all a little more on our toes, I think, here.
Right.
So,
and it makes so much sense that the guy that can get in and out of places, that's the dangerous man.
Yeah,
watch
the
out
guy
for
who's
the
mobile.
Letter carrier.
That's what they always say. The guy who's mobile. Back in the day, it was the salesman or the guy like that. The mobile motherfucker who can get around, has reason to be places.
Now it's the truck driver. Yeah. Anybody with a thing behind them that can store bodies and shit.
Well, it's not only that. It's everybody else. If they disappear for 3 days, people notice.
Yeah.
If you don't come in the office for 3 days, people notice. Yeah. But if you're a truck driver and you're gone for a week anyway, no one notices if in between your stops you're killing people and dismembering them. They're not going to notice it. You're still doing your normal things. Your normal thing is just facilitates what your hobbies are, I guess. So a doctor reviewed the autopsy performed here, and Dorothy's body showed extensive signs of hemorrhaging in the eyes, hemorrhages on the vocal cords, all sorts of a loose joint on the hyoid bone, which is manual strangulation. Pressure would have been applied to the neck for 3.5 to 5 minutes to cause this. No carbon dioxide or soot in her airways, which means she died before the fire was started. Right. Extensive areas of burning to her skin and all that sort of thing. And also photographs of her wrists showed that she had been restrained of some kind. There was red marks on her wrist from restraints. Oh, there's more. March 1997, not 6, 7, a year fucking after they searched his goddamn house. This is Casamaria Paruch. She's 43 years old. She encountered him when he expressed interest in buying her condominium in March of 1997. He gave a videotape statement for this too. He said that he was driving in the area of North Kenneth in Chicago when he saw a for sale by owner sign up in an apartment or a condo. He was wearing his 7-Up uniform.
Yeah.
And he stopped and went inside to the unit listed. A woman answered the door. He said, "Do you mind if I look at it?" She said, "The Uncola.
Right.
Come on in."
Did you bring Spot with you? That guy's so adorable.
So cute. Do you have like one?
So cute.
I know they have those keychains. My kid love it. Can you get me one for my kid?
You got an antenna ball one?
Oh, it'd be so cool.
So cute.
So the woman here, Miss Paruch, she took him through the residence. At some point, he grabbed her from behind and pulled her on the back of the neck again down to the floor, drove her face into the floor, causing her to bleed profusely, slammed her face into the floor. He then stood up, walked her into the bedroom. Again, this is going to be gross. Yeah. He then pulled off her panties and he raped her. Yeah. He ejaculated on her stomach and wipes it off, though. Okay. Doesn't want to leave anything behind.
Gentleman.
Jesus Christ. He reached into a cabinet, pulled out, she reached into a nearby cabinet, purportedly to get tissues, and instead pulled out an iron and swung it at him.
Atta girl.
That's what I'm talking about. But he blocked it with his arm, and the iron flew away. Oh, no. And, and that's, so not good. It's at that point that he was choking her and, noticed that she was not breathing. So he poured a flammable liquid on her body, lit a match, and fucking left. She was found there, fire emanating from the bathroom. Her lower body was unclothed. An electric cord was across her neck. The firefighter noticed an iron on the bathroom floor, which was the one he blocked, and it caused it. She swung it at him. He blocked it. It flew out of her hand and went all the way into the bathroom.
She swung hard.
She swung everything she had for her life. She swung probably from the floor. It was probably like a nightstand. She probably went down. She's like, "Here it is," and fucking came up full force. What else would you do? You got to, if you don't nail him, you're going to get fucked here. I don't mean you're going to get killed.
Yeah.
So, the fire investigator said they found exactly the same thing. There was a great deal of blood spatter on the wall. They found a large gash to the side of her neck in addition to the wire cord around her neck. A pair of bloody jeans was on the floor in the bathroom along with the iron. Blood spatter everywhere, deliberately set fire. An empty can of stripper was found on the floor in the closet, which is a meat cleaver hanging on the wall of the kitchen was smeared with her blood as well. Jesus fucking Christ. Cook County State's Attorney Richard Devine, old Dickie D, he called Paul, quote, a terrible predator. Well, I would say that's an understatement. Wow. They just said he gained the confidence of these women who would pretend to be interested in property. He was well spoken. He wasn't stupid. He had a work uniform on. He looked legitimate. People let him in. They felt comfortable with him. A worker can get away with anything. If you have a uniform on, you people don't even, they just let you do things.
Brought down the mob with them.
That you could just let you do things. They just let you do things. No one notices them.
Phone guy, come on in.
It's the same way.
So anyway, how are we going to whack Billy?
It's the same reason why nobody got busted at first for shooting Paul Castellano in the street in the middle of Manhattan during Christmas with 1 million people watching because they dressed up like Shriners. They just blended in. Everyone went, who'd you see? They went, a bunch of Shriners. What'd they look like? Shriners. They had the jacket and the hat. They're like, faces?
Bunch of pheasants.
All I saw was the hat. That's what everybody said. It was fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So Dickie D also said, quote, Paul Runge is our worst nightmare. Yeah, no shit. He conned his way into women's homes or duped them into trusting him. He then raped and murdered them. He looked for opportunities to make acquaintances with people. He said he'd see a for sale sign up and say he'd like to look at the house, things like that. You go back and your heart goes out to the families who have lost loved ones. There were some pretty brutal attacks here and murders. Your mind boggles on some of this stuff.
Yeah, because the other part is like he's worse than Bundy because he's getting into people's lives and letting them just do their life and then killing. And like then, Bundy would play at your heartstrings, like get you out of your element.
But you're
and
still
help.
out.
Right.
Yeah.
But you get a guy out, get a girl or person away from their element.
In their home so no one can see.
You get in their life in no time flat.
And then control them.
Horrifying.
Well, I think that's part of the psychology of it is not only to control them, but to control them in their environment.
Yeah,
like
where you're uncomfortable.
You're in control of their environment and their whole thing, and there's no more control than that. Than going,
I should be so uncomfortable, yet I'm not.
Yep. If you took her to your house, obviously she would be uncomfortable, obviously. But if you do it in her house, way worse.
She came into your world. Like
now,
this is
you're violating her whole world. She would know she's in danger that way. She'd be on her toes. Here she's comfortable. This is where you get the control.
If you don't kill
where
her,
his mind is,
you're
I think.
fucking that woman up for the rest of her life.
So he doesn't give really any interviews, but he does submit written answers to a 2006 Daily Herald questionnaire for him through his father. He says, I don't let myself accept that I'm guilty of these crimes. I feel bad about the pain I've caused, but the self-defense part of my brain doesn't let me identify the crimes with me. Without truly accepting my actions, there will never be an equal amount of guilt and remorse. To fully accept and realize my actions would kill me. So basically he's like, I'm going to act like it never happened and I'll feel better forever. Okay. Wow. What a piece of shit. So...
he said that out loud.
He said that. He wrote that. He put that in writing and said, publish that, please. That's, well, I don't even know. So Stacy's mom comes out now, finally, after all the confessions and after we know exactly what happened, because she's still, this has been years, she didn't know exactly. They didn't tell the mom, hey, we know who did it, we're just waiting to arrest him. That's not what happened. So she waited. She said that she knew that she and the police always believed that he was the killer. She said, quote, I've known for quite a while he was the suspect, and if you look at his history, it's been a long time that I've known it was him. So she said she knew, but when she got a phone call from the FBI to tell her that he'd confessed recently in 2001, she said that she was expecting bad news when she heard it was the FBI. She was expecting, like, they have to let him go or something. And instead, she said, quote, I was very surprised. I thought I was being called down to be told he was going to be released from jail. And instead, it was that he had confessed to the murders of a 10-year-old girl and 6 grown women, including her daughter. So this is crazy. She said, it gives me satisfaction knowing he can't do it to anyone else. But this is far from the end of my involvement. She said, quote, I will be like his shadow. Anytime I find out there's a hearing, I'll try my best to be there, as will my sons. So she's like, I'm not going to let him forget this shit. She said that Daniel, at that point, who's 11, knew from the very beginning that his mother had been murdered. He's glad they finally caught his mom's killer. And she also says the family won't forget won't forget Runge at all. She says, quote, I plan on making it my mission in life to make his life as miserable as possible.
Good.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
He goes to court for this. Public defender. Imagine you're the public defender and you got this in your lap.
Who hates me?
Oh, fuck. I mean, A, you're going to make a name for yourself, but B, you're going to make a name for yourself by saying insane shit to try to get him off. Because people like us, 20 years later, are going to say, Assistant Public Defender Woodward Jordan. I mean, he's got to defend the guy, right. But I mean, how do you do it, is my point. He says that his client was not properly read his rights, was deprived of sleep, and given false promises during questioning.
Do you just like fake a stutter, like in
like in My Cousin Vinny?
Just like fake a stutter. I'm getting better.
Almost there. Drag it the fuck out. But that's his defense, is that he read his rights, and he's deprived of sleep and given false promises. They're like, he fucking butchered 7 people.
We can take all these grown women out and just focus on the 10-year-old. How's that?
He raped and fucking tore apart a 10-year-old girl.
A baby.
A baby. Fuck, I don't care. Yeah. This is one of those times where, like we say, we're not a fan of the death penalty because you never know. Right. And the reason why, as we'll get to later, death penalty was taken off in some places is because they found a ton of people that were innocent that they had fucking killed or were about to kill.
Right.
Makes a lot of sense. But this guy,
a rope
DNA
to the back of my ball hitch and I'll drag him down the road.
DNA evidence.
He's awful.
All physical evidence. He's admitted it. He's detailed every fucking thing he did, which matches all the physical. He 1,000,000% conclusively did every fucking thing he did. What are we doing? Oof. Like, this is the guy where you're like, I don't care if it's murderers, there's one execution every 30 years because we don't like executions. Whatever the 30-year period is, this is the guy, I think, right here. I mean, worse than Dahmer. He's worse than Dahmer.
Absolutely. He's worse than Bundy, for sure.
He's worse than Bundy.
Yeah.
This guy is the fucking...
This is the worst.
He reminds me of the I-5 killer with Randall Woodfield. Right. That's what he reminds me of out in Oregon and Northern California. Right. We did that in Crime and Sports, actually.
He went all the way to San Diego.
Yes, Randall Woodfield, Crime and Sports, like episode 55 or something. We covered him. He was drafted by the Packers and was cut in training camp. So the sports part of it is like 5 seconds long, and then it's all talking about his serial murder. So
awful things he did.
And awful things. He reminds me of this guy a little bit, except that guy traveled. Right. This guy does it right around where he lives, which is even fucking more
I'll only go like 15 miles an hour, and then somebody can shout from a bullhorn the names of the women that he did things to as he's drugged behind my truck.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm good with that.
Humane as fuck.
I am good with that. So basically, every clinical psychologist, everybody is called for the defense to testify for him. Everybody says he's not crazy. He's not insane, but he's definitely got a mental illness of some kind. He's a sexual sadist, all this shit, but he knows right from wrong. Yeah. He knows what he's doing. He could not rape people if he really tried, but he just doesn't really try. Now, I have a ton of psychological shit here on him, because I found the I want to know what the fuck is going on in there. It's like taking apart a watch and going, where's it wrong? Is that wheel supposed to be hooked onto that thing? What the fuck is in there?
How does it get continuity from the battery to the hands?
How does that work exactly? One of the doctors described him as being normal 95% of the time, but when his urges built up, he would become extremely violent and would rape and murder. Yeah, he had like these cool-offs and then huge blow-offs of looking for these people.
It's a goddamn serial killer.
And at first it was with his wife, and then he dropped her off and just started doing it on his own. Mm-hmm. At first it was like a thing between the two of them, which is even fucking weirder. But we might do a bonus episode on the psychology of this guy, because
we have to.
There's so much. I don't want to just blow it off, because to me that's the thing that we want to know about him. Otherwise, fuck him.
That's the meat and potatoes.
Is why, so it won't happen more. You know what I'm saying? So maybe we'll do that next week for a bonus episode. I'm not sure, but either way, he's called to have disorders, but not anything that's going to find you innocent. He doesn't not know where he is.
Right.
So he is only convicted here.
What?
Found guilty of the murders of Yolanda Gutierrez and Jessica Munoz. Okay. That's the only ones he's found guilty for on this particular thing. Okay. They don't try him for anything else right now. That's the first two because they have the DNA evidence very solid. It was inside and it's there. So, sentencing here, prosecutors name him, quote, the face of the death penalty. Like, yeah. This is the guy. This is if there's one guy, if you only kill one man this year, make it this man right now. Like, it's one of those things.
It's also like a political...
Give him a pitch.
Yeah. It's a political statement of, even if you are completely against it.
Yes.
Still?
You want to kill him? Still. How about no one else and just him? Because that's where I'm at. You know what I mean? But I don't even... The state shouldn't do it. They should find whoever's got the biggest relative and let them beat this man to death. That's what... If they feel like it. If not, maybe it's life in prison.
Maybe not even just be like, you have... Here's a key. And we're going to be over there. It's not necessarily let. It's it's on you.
Just give him like some like workout gloves, nothing that'll, stop the beating. Right. Just, not cut his hands up and stuff. Send him in there and you get 15 minutes. Do whatever you want. Fucking.
Something that can't be a weapon and can't be taken away from you. Like shards of glass on the knuckles. I'm okay with
that's fine. You can go in there with whatever you want. No, I want him to go and rip somebody limb. This guy deserves anything he gets.
He doesn't get to fight back. We handcuff him to a chair. Bolted to concrete.
Absolutely. Handcuffed like a motherfucker. So said he's the goddamn face of the death penalty. The jury finds him eligible here on here's all the statutory grounds. Here's all the aggravators. Murdered a person, obviously. Jessica was under 12 years of age, and the death resulted from exceptionally brutal and heinous behavior and wanton cruelty. He killed Jessica Munoz during the course of another felony. And during the murder of Jessica was committed in a cold, calculated, premeditated manner pursuant to a preconceived plan, scheme, or design to take a human life by unlawful means. 4, the murder of Jessica was intentional and involved the infliction of torture. The murder of Yolanda was committed in a cold, calculated, predetermined manner, and all the same for Yolanda. So, you, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty for this guy. He gets a death penalty here. Now, June of 2000, that's in 2006. Mm-hmm. So in June of 2006 here, they're trying to get a new trial and a new sentencing hearing, but a judge just denies the motions and says, nope, we can sure love to kill this guy. I'll do it if you don't want to do it. Just put him in a garage and I'll start my car up for a while and just read my emails. By the time I'm done, he'll be fucking done. I'll just scroll through Twitter and you guys can shovel him up when I'm done. So 2009 in May, he appeals his sentence. Here, the Supreme Court of Illinois, in a divided decision, actually upheld his conviction, rejecting his argument that he was denied a fair trial. In his appeal, his legal complaints about his trial included juror misconduct because justices considered evidence that one juror cheered openly in the courtroom for the prosecution, threw his notes against the side of the jury box during a defense witness testimony, and that jurors disregarded warnings not to discuss the case. Basically, they all sat there and were like, when can we fucking say to kill him? How long? Is it today? What? Are you... Shut up! We want to decide to kill him already, you fucking bastards.
And then he cheers.
It's very, very, very hard to not feel that way. Obviously, the legal system or whatever, but I want this guy dead. Fuck him. So, the 7 justices affirmed the decision, but there was some serious dissent on that, obviously. One of them wrote, quote, I recognize that the crimes at the issue here were horrific, but it's precisely these types of cases that test our commitment to the principle of law. We must not allow ourselves to be swayed by emotion. Given Illinois' history with capital cases, the majority opinion sends the wrong message about how these cases will be treated in Illinois, which is true, because if you do this and then it's a bunch of normal murder cases that aren't this guy, yes, but this, we really want to kill this one guy, though. That's what it should be. Like, you should give people like 1 every 10 years you can do. Like, that's it, though. It has to be the worst guy ever. You can't just be like, well, he robbed a 7-Eleven. Let's kill him. No. It has to be you took a child apart. Right. Then you get to fucking be killed.
And her mother, let's test fire him in a rocket somewhere.
That'd be great. That would be awesome. Let's get creative with this shit.
Elon Musk, if you need a pilot, I know where one is.
Let's get creative on things, like fun things. Yeah. Let's pack him full of fireworks and shoot him out of a cannon and have him fucking explode in a glorious celebration someday.
Just put one in his ass and see how far he goes.
Fine.
That rich man that shot himself up in that rocket and then the parachute got caught in the thing and the rocket just plummeted to Earth.
That's great.
That's what we should do with it. No parachute.
That's fine.
Just see how far it goes.
Whatever's fun for everybody. So...
Unlike the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Freedom.
In 2011, the death penalty is abolished in Illinois due to, as we talked about, multitudes of problems here. Yeah. So it's at this point that the prosecutors drop charges against him for the murder of Stacey Frobel and the murder of the Bosnian sisters. Well, they said they decided to drop the charges. His death sentence is automatically converted to life without parole. So he has no chance of parole. Okay. So they said that the state's attorney, Robert Berlin, said he decided to drop the charges concerning the sisters, citing it would be a waste of time since he's already been sentenced to the highest punishment available in the state. Yeah. And he's exhausted his appeals on it, too. So they're like, he's in there forever. Nothing we can do. All we can do is get him in there for more ever. There's no other death penalty or anything.
I mean, there's also a problem with that case that if they try that and the lead fucking witness also murdered with him,
that's the thing,
that might get appealed and they might win their appeal.
Let's just keep it the way it is. They said in a statement the decision to drop the charges wasn't made without deliberations. The sisters' families were consulted as well as staff members. The guy said here, I do not take this action lightly, and I know that to some it may appear as if Mr. Runge has in essence gotten away with murder since he will not be punished for these murders. The fact is that he will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Even if we were to proceed to trial, Mr. Runge would be found guilty of the murders. Since the death penalty is no longer an option, he would not receive any additional punishment. Now, I found a couple of things here. Comments that if you look deep in some of these news articles, you'll find people that know them commenting on it.
Oh, boy.
I found an old girlfriend of Paul's from high school describing him.
What he did to her.
Maybe we should save that for the psychological thing.
Maybe so.
Let's do that. They went to prom together. We'll put it that way.
Oh shit! It's prom date.
She was his first. He was her first.
Oh,
so
God.
We'll talk about that. And I also found a comment,
and that was post his.
Oh yeah, this is 2007. She made this.
This is after the. I mean,
this is 2007.
No, James. Her date to the prom was after the 14-year-old.
Before. Because he was in prison after. It was before.
My.
He was it was the year before.
Wow.
Yeah, so he hadn't gotten that far yet. But yeah, that's so that's that. We can we'll put that in with the psychological stuff. Now her son Daniel here posted in 2008, in January of 2008 on one of these crime blogs.
Because this kid's 30.
Now he is. Yeah, at the time he was 17. Mm-hmm. And he was thanking people for their concern, and he was talking about he basically, quote, I would like to know so much more. I just turned 18 now, and I'd like to know the truth in every way possible. I believe that my mom's husband at the time, Jeff, had something to do with it. I think he had a big part of it with the way he treated us. She died right before she tried to divorce Jeff. And Sherry, she knew about the murders all along. Celeste, that's a woman who's commenting, thank you for the info. This was mostly new to me. If you'd like to reach me, and then he puts his email address on there too. I would like to talk to you all. Thank you, Stacy's son, Daniel. He seems like a good kid who's looking for answers, and he's going to be an angry kid, man. I would be fucking furious all the time if that was me, and I'm angry anyway, and nobody killed my mother, so this is fucking wild. I don't know about the Jeff being involved. He passed multiple polygraphs, and
sounds like he still doesn't like Jeff.
I think Jeff might have killed her if it went on. Maybe Jeff would have killed her too. Who the fuck knows? Right. But he got beat to the punch, man. So Paul is in the Pontiac Correctional Center in somewhere here. He's in custody, and if anybody sees him in there, I mean, hey, nudge, nudge. Do what you got to do. Anyway, so Paul, I found on that serial killer auction bullshit site, somebody bought a fucking handwritten envelope of his for $12.
Yuck.
Some asshole. Now, one last thing here. There was a woman named Amanda Taylor, okay? Taylor and Taylor and Rex Taylor, who's her husband, they ended up They killed a man, okay? They tried to make it out like a suicide. They killed a man. Mm-hmm. Anyway, what ended up happening is they were a friend of hers said that she and her late husband had an obsession with death and all that sort of thing. They reportedly become pen pals with Paul Runge. They were his pen pal. Gross. Rex Taylor even changed his Facebook username to Rex Runge in honor of his jailed friend, and expressed admiration for James Holmes and fucking Anders Breivik, those mass shooting assholes. What ended up happening is after they got busted for the murder there, or so whatever the fuck happened, I don't think they did the murder. I didn't read the whole story, but I got to the end here. And basically, I think Rex killed his dad or his father-in-law or something. Rex ended up committing suicide.
Okay.
You know, the other stuff's alleged. I don't know exactly. I got to read the whole thing. But he ended up committing suicide. So following his suicide, Paul, from prison, sent his widow, the Amanda Taylor, I think, Amanda Taylor, $1,000.
What?
A serial killer who's in prison sent someone $1,000, which means people are giving him money. This is just recently.
Yeah. Wow.
That means people are giving him money.
Gross.
$1,000 is a fuckload of money to have in jail. And
that's like
to have that to give out?
Yeah. If he was
fucking
working
kidding me?
every day in prison since the day he got in,
he wouldn't have still made it all.
He just gave it all to her.
It's bullshit. That means he's got more money. Someone's giving him fucking money, which is asinine.
That is awful.
Two things I have to do. This is terrible. Before we wrap it up, I have to say, please don't confuse this Paul Runge with two other Paul Runges that come up. And I'm not trying to do this as a joke or like we do in Crime and Sports. I feel bad for, but dude,
I feel bad for
they
him.
come up right hard on a Google search, man. One is Paul Runge, who's a former Major League Baseball player. He played for the Braves. He was a third baseman and a second baseman. He was born in 1958. He's from Kingston, New York. I know exactly where that is. Yeah, he's born 2 years apart. That's why I was like, is this him? And then I was like, no, he was in prison when this guy was playing baseball.
This is a totally different podcast now.
Totally different podcast. Then there's also in Germantown, Tennessee, a Dr. Paul Runge, MD, who's a pediatrician.
Worked his ass off.
So please, he had nothing to do with this. He's not going to.
He helps kids.
He will not rape and kill your children. I'm pretty sure. Don't hold me to that, but he doesn't. He's got five. All his ratings are 5-star.
He's great.
So I doubt that. And he's accepting new patients. So for any lost business he might have had from this, please take your child to see him.
Poor bastard.
That is the case of, starts with Stacey Frobel and it goes on from there into a lot more. And just an unraveling fucking yarn ball.
I'm so sick of
that Friendly the dog is going to bring home.
What a good dog.
What a good boy. He's a good boy. But that was kind of a crazy episode.
Really
Streamwood, Illinois. Holy shit. If you like that episode or you want to tell us about liking the episode or any parts of our show, please do it. We beg of you. Get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon. Give us 5 stars. Helps a lot. Why? We don't fucking know. No clue why it helps, but it does for some reason. It helps drive us up the charts. That I don't know why. It counts against their funky little algorithm. So get on that. Do that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything small town murder related. All sorts of merch up there. New stuff all the time, as well as get your crime and sports things there as well. You should be listening to Crime and Sports if you're not.
It's a lot of fun.
It's fun. This week we did Oscar Pistorius, which is we took apart a murder there. Not a lot of sports, mainly about an arrogant murdering asshole. So you can check that out and then go back to the catalog and go through it. If you think that we're marginally funny on this show, you'll really like Crime and Sports. Trust me on that. Check it out. Give us a chance and head into there. Also, you can follow us on, also with the Crime and Sports and that. What is it? Yeah, also P.S. I Hate This Movie. Listen to that as well. And if you want to help out more, follow the show on social media. Do that. We are at Murder. Was that Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram, and you'll find Crime and Sports stuff on there as well. Check all that out. Hang out with us. Also, if you like the show, go on to Facebook and go into some of those groups. Yeah. There's a ton of groups, like the fan groups, and they all kind of go over stuff, and they seem like a lot of fun. People have fun in there. So
seem to limit the fuckery.
They keep the fuckery out. Yeah, they monitor it well. It's pretty good. So check that out and have fun with the whole community, because we all kind of get along, and it's a big community. So do that. Hang out with us. If you want to be an even bigger hero, good God, you are the most heroic producer of the show. You're going to get things for it. Things for you. You're going to get Jimmy mispronouncing your name just in a moment coming up here. You're also going to get access to all of the bonus material, so much bonus material, all sorts of good stuff. We had a wild-ass murder last week in Tennessee where Oh boy, there was buckets full of parts. We'll just put it that way. More buckets than Kentucky Fried Chicken. That shit was nasty. So check that out. It was a recent one. Guy had social media pictures. He was super creepy. And you'll get on that. Check that out. This week we'll have more stuff for you. You can get access to everything like that and all the Crime and Sports bonus as well at patreon.com/crime and sports. Anybody above the $5 level is going to get all the stuff they can handle. Yeah. And as well as that, if you want to be just a nice person who wants to help a couple of podcasters out and get some good karma for yourself, you can do that as well. You can go over to PayPal, use our email address, which is crimeandsports@gmail.com. And God damn it, Jimmy, I've had it. It's been a crazy, wild story. I need good news now. Yeah. Give me the names of my favorite goddamn people on the face of the earth that would never sever my body parts and scatter them all throughout the Northland. Hit me with them, Jimmy.
This week's executive producers are Clay Thorson, Chris McLeod, Richard Monge, that's Dick Minge.
Yes.
Debbie with no last name, Melissa Turner, Darlene
from
James.
From the Nantucket Minges, yes.
Right. Darlene James, Marcella Kellum, I think, Pack Skulls, I don't know what that is, if it's a business or whatever, or if it's somebody's name, that's fucking cool. Chantel Kemp, Kelly Kunecki, I think, Martz, Betty LaFrance, Katie Farrell, Nathan Neidlinger, Jesse with no last name, Charlie, is that? Yep, Moxham, Jordan Bennett, Jesse with no last name, Robin Sherrill, M. Louisa Edmondson, Brooke Dover, that's Ben's sister, obviously.
Clearly.
Robin Sherrill, I said that. Tom Jordan, Justin with no last name, Keith Cook Jr., Aaron Isabella, Ant Fun, I think, Sean Cook, Cindy Bitter, Chris Bartolino, Braden with no last name, Taylor Cody, Lauren Cow, I think, Jason Ventry, Carolyn Clark Rivera, and Katie Doherty. Thank you guys so much for everything you do. We can't do it without you. Other producers this week are Jess Laura, Thomas Smith, Jude Kendall, Lucinda Sheriffs, Craig Roberts, Joanne Ahern, Aspen Cloud, Bradley Herbold, I think, Alexander Faulkner, Foxy, is that right? Foxy Beaver? No. God damn it. I'm an asshole. And I fell for it. Fiona Lees, Louise Rayfield, James Martyr, Tyler Smur, Craig Cole, Gil Vallis, Amy Alstrom, Kirsten Christensen, Nicole Vaughn, John Mark, what is that? Lewis, Santiago Quinones, Dakota Seward, Alberto, nope, it's Albert Mueller, Julia Schuster, Jordan Vies, Andy McLean, Steve Schnell, congratulations again, Peyton Meadows, Samantha Bonzak, sorry, shit. Kelly Schmidt, Dan Dobey, Christine Valdez, Brandon Abels, Janice Kraft, Jennifer Peltier, Liz Leatherland, David Fortner, Rick with no last name, Ashley Vio, Maria Raspier, Jared Brown, Vicky Morley, Kaylin Hansen, Amy Hosler, Christy Stout, Carl Kirshner, Robin Anderson, Danielle James, Matt Tenney, Sir Blackamus of the Prime, Mandy Knight, Kip Sousley, Jeffrey Cram, I think, Jimmy Davis, Kevin Greenier, Taylor with no just Taylor, no last name. Frank Fortucci, Taylor. It's an E on the end. That's why.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Brandy Taylor was a porn star, and that's how it was pronounced.
Was
Taylor, isn't that weird?
Taylor.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm sure her middle name was Taylor. Doesn't matter. Katarzyna Niedziolka. That's Russian, I'm sure, right? Or Czech or something. Joseph McGlynn.
Eastern Bloc of some
something
kind.
Over there. Jessica Bongermino. Nicholas Mesker, Luke Hutner, Alida, Nightingale Photography, Flavie Duguay Labourne, no, Theo Vaughn's Mullet, that's easy enough, Sarah Bratcher, Melinda Hughes, I don't know what I did, if that's a C or an L, Justin Brockman, Maria Chichiri, Paulo Gili, Matt Caruch, Dana Russ Johnson, Sarah Martinson, Larry Hutchison, Brian Bastard. Nope, that's Bustard. I'm sorry. Janice Hill, Alexander Wilcox, Aaron Sherman, Graham Cannon, Ali Preble, Georgette King, Mark Balboni, Lily Whitaker, Michael Humecki, Lyson Cabioch, probably not. Ellie Spoonable, not likely. Benny Nielsen, Kira Watson, Sabrina Hancock, Julie Penny, Sunday with no last name. Sean with no last name. Justin Thomas, Mark Adams, Karina Summer, Kaylee Hopkinson, Cross Caldwell, Sol Meck, Matt Smolsky, Kevin Rosenberger, LC, Emily Hoffman, Nadine Carter, Amy Labossiere, Advanced Water, Taylor Lundgren, Jessica Nash, Karen and Jethro, Emma Branaby, Andrea Buckley, Sina Mori, Laura Looney, Adam with no last name, Catherine Lunsford, Antoninka, Jenny Berg, Bridget Moulton, Ashley and Kenny, Larissa, Ashley Kenny. What am I doing? Larissa Murillo, Stephen Vasquez, Michaela Lucitti, Marissa O'Keefe, Josh Compton, Chase Olson, Caitlin McKernan, Chloe McGrath, Robert Balder, Kelly Hegan-Staller, Alejandra, Sneezana,
I like that.
Snezana?
She's got lots of allergies.
I think so. Alex Johnson, Rohan Bahaj, Christina, Kochi Hernandez, I think, Chris Juarez, Jeffrey Jones, Molly Apple, Aaron Graham, Julie Kelly, Paul Janae, Drew Milhorn, Mr. Sirk, Rekha Roney, no, Drew Danforta, Chet, I'm trying, Chiza Minota Shono, John Hedgepath, Carly with no last name, Jesse with no last name, Cherish Cave, Dom Passion, I think, Jason Ebenhack, Kimberly Rice, Jared with no last name, Andrew Denton, Stephanie Brooks, Wendy Nesmith, Shane with no last name, Nathan Foster, Ingrid Liz Campbell, Chris McCleary, Amanda Cronin, Peggy Bruner, Alan, nope, that's Allison Garrison, Jesus, Natalie Kind, Denby Heckle, Debbie, what is that? I don't know what I did. Denise Heckle.
Oh, my goodness. Jesus. Denise, that's a tough one.
Anthony Getty, Jacob, no, that's John Jacob, Squeeps, Stephen James Tucker, Elena Oish Ulrich, James West, Liberty with no last name, Zachary Reeder, Tony Bevilacqua, Adam Webb, Ayla Fairchild, Raven Melissa, Adam Webb, Ariel Ortiz, Brannon Faust, Victoria D'Angelo, Michael Critch, David Schnitker. I don't know why, all the difficult ones, I write them fucked up, too.
You write them and then
I'm not helping myself. Jordan Hillman, Caitlin Couch, Jorge Torres, Caitlin Shaw, Danielle Danella, Mendoza Ardona, Lisa Yone, Delia Hunt, Heidi or Heidi. It's got to be Heidi Johnson, Sav Haley, Nikki Redmond Corbin, Raina Jackson, Lena. God, Joseph, Joshua, Vieira, Becky Becker, I don't know, Miranda Rain, Scott with no last name, Daniel Barnes, Angelia, Joe Dawson, Caleb White, Kenda Keller, Abel Robles, Don Meredith.
Ended up right where you started.
Yuval Regev, JD with no last name, Kendrick Wallace, Angela Davidson, Chooch McDonald? No, real John.
Chooch? Like my grandmother used to call people a big chooch?
Chooch McDonald.
Okay.
Jordan Perkins, Ricky Lloyd, Carly Seward, Kyle Murray, Ryan with no last name, Sean Karstensen, Malin Lindberg, Adam Haberberger. All right, already, I'll watch The Wire. That's what that says.
All right, good.
Lauren Baker, Blue Kieran, Matthew Johnson, Alyssa Nesbitt, Alyssa. Casey Clark, Jordan Petty, yes, Jeremy Costigan, it's his birthday, happy birthday. Amy Mirable, Kevin Riley, Shiana Colon, Hannah with no last name, Colin Spencer, Graham McGregor, Rob Sanford, Courtney Cieslik, Abigail Manning, Morella Sebring, Heather Toot, can't be right, Quincy Markowitz, Laura with no last name, Brian Gauger, Tamara, Chamomile, Megan Holtrup, Jason Stuck, Ryan Shank, Stephanie Hudd, Damian McCowther, I think, Cintron's Lemons, Michael Cannon, Jamie French, Joe Weinberg, Monica Kendrick, Devin Creason, Nina Korzeniewski, I think, Heather Nelson, Evan Bubba Smith, Gina Mara, Kai Kinsler, Bees Knees, Born to Please. What?
All righty then.
I don't know what I had to read there.
That's good.
Gross. Or not.
Who
knows?
Could be great.
Good for you, person.
Thank you.
Ellen Hiroka. Emily Perdue, Cheyenne Rickelman, Mariah Plotkin, Adam James, Brandy Whitehouse, Ashley Grant, Michael Hartley, Courtney Perkins, Cody Kinnison, Carrie Merrill, Lisa Holmes, Misty Keene, Janice, nope, that's Killian. What? Killian Coleman, Sarah B. Solo, Amanda Nicole Lewis, Matthew Troll, Julie Callan, Brian Borer, Jackie Thomas, Wes Clark, Alyssa Tyler, Sarah Acosta, Frankie O, Jeff with no last name, Nicola with no last name. It's just Nicole, not Nicola. Layla Hallman, Kyla, Sarah D'Antonio, Nicole Nagoski, Blue Yaki, I don't know, Sean with no last name, Elijah Wegner, Andrew Rick Brote, what? Rick Bratt? Amber Estrado, Chelsea Galosh, Tracy Renninger, Paul Ashton, Alice Agner, Nicole Reardick, what? Allie Lewis, Hannah Omari, Danielle Dull, Jordan with no last name, Jessica Doherty, Michael Grau, Jeannie Streeter, Helena with no last name, Wimmy Gisman, Dylan Leahy, Hope with no last name, Smelly Weasel 23 instead of in case you got it confused. Emma Stegman, Shelley. There's at least 23. Shelley Steed, Geeky Enigma, Molly with no last name, Ruben Santos, Stefan Luck. That could be Luck. John Bunger, Dwayne Stevens, Kayla Carpenter, I think, Sandra Lovejoy, Christine Kendall, Omar Navarro, Asia Clark, Larry Hutchison, Bratcher Arts, Lynn LeBlanc, Annie Eckler, Sarah Verschure, I think. Don Jackson, Joe Boudreau, Kelly McConville, Zeke and Jazz, Brock, Mahmoud Rahman, Corey Boone, John Mize Jr., Charles with no last name, CK, probably not Louie, Rachel Wallman, J.W. May, get this right, Cherie and, Cheryl Biel, Bill Rose, Benjamin Page, Anna Hill, Chris Gatorna.
You son of a bitch, Gatorna, I'll get you.
Tony with no last name, Andrea Rowe, Heather Dunn, Timothy Lamb, Stephanie Vincent, Aaron Davis, Anna Van Slulin, Amber Marks, Brendan Finnegan, KJ Winter, Billy Sun, Juliana Colley, just Juliana Colley, Cindy Hinton, Jennifer Gooch, I think it's Gooch. Warren Pierce, Cindy Hinton, I said that. Karen Cooper, Anthony Del Monte of the Del Monte Fortune. Fucking so much money. Jeff with no last name.
Canned peas, as far as the eye can see.
Carrots. Michael Murnick. Peter Roningen, Alyssa Kolazar, Adam Apple, Melissa Swigert, Mason Pritchard, Samaria Towns, I think, Samantha Goodwin, Dusty Poe, Noma Kumalo, Blake Wooten, Dick Kennedy, Laura Moore, Carrie Merrill, Morgan Holloway, Jesse, nope, it's just Jess Merrill, Joe Kashurik, and also then there's Nicole Dio, and all of our patrons, obviously. Thank you all so much for everything you do.
Thank you, everybody. You are the life's blood of the show, and fuck do we appreciate it. Yeah. We really, really do. Thank you so much. Jimmy, what if they wanted to thank you? How might they do that?
You may find me at Whisman Sucks on everything. Where can they find you?
You can find me at Jimmy P is funny, or you can just copy and paste the name. You know how that works. You'll figure it out somewhere. But, man, thank you guys so much for joining us, and more stuff coming. Connecticut next week. Wild shit all the time.
I surprisingly had a nice time with this.
Yes, it was. It could have been.
It was mellow.
It could have been. I could have went into more detail. Put it that way. There's a lot more detail that is absolutely fucking disgusting. That's in addition to the gross shit we said. But there was more stuff that was like, yeesh. That's a little too detailed.
Maybe that's why it's not on Dateline.
Yeah, maybe that's why. So
Lester Holt reading the script going,
like, oh my,
no! No!
That's disgusting.
Can we just do Scott Peterson again?
I won't say that.
Can we just do that again?
He put her in the water like a nice man. This is disgusting. This is terrible. So with that said, everybody, keep coming back and joining us every week. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.